We'll be covering the Don Lemon interview in just a moment. I know, Mad Mart. As long as we don't have people coming through and being like, Jack, you haven't blended yet. And I fucking know. I know I haven't blended yet. You little goons. You wisecrackers.
River Bait Wiggle.
Metal Kitty Mom, thank you for subscribing over on Twitch and for being subscribed for 31 months. That's incredible. Hello. What's your liquid foundation? I use Tarte Double Duty Beauty. I like Tarte Cosmetics because they are like animal cruelty free, and they go well with my skin. What can I say? And as a foundation, this is pretty nice, in my opinion. All right. There we go. They also double as Tarte candies. No, for the record, do not eat Tarte Cosmetics. They will make you sick. And also, Metal Kitty Mom, thank you for getting us one step closer to an outfit change. Now, I have done remarkably little in preparation for watching this Don Lemon interview. I don't really know that much about Don Lemon outside of he was fired for essentially saying that Nikki Haley didn't have enough eggs in her uterus to be a presidential candidate, which is a really weird thing to say about anybody, let alone a candidate for president. And so he got fired, and now he's doing his own show because he got fired and it was in breach of his contract. So he got tons of money as like part of a settlement. And then he, of course, was approached by Elon Musk to start a new show on Twitter.com, currently known as X. And his very first show was going to be an interview with Elon Musk. And I guess towards the end of the interview, he asked Elon Musk a few too many non-softball questions. And Elon Musk then proceeded to, like, leave and terminate the deal that Don Lemon had with Twitter. And it's basically just catapulted Don Lemon's show into like the general public's knowledge, because prior to this I don't think anyone really knew or cared that much about Don Lemon, but now people are gonna know and watch his show just because Elon Musk got upset about it. So I guess thanks, Elon, for making Don Lemon more of a thing. Melon Husk is an idiot of the highest order. He is quite possibly one of the dumbest men alive. And I don't say that lightly, okay? Like, Elon Musk is... I mean, basically, if you look at his history, and I know we've all been over this before, but we're gonna go over it just, like, a little bit. Like, his family inherited a bunch of wealth from emerald mines in South Africa, that were run during, you know, the apartheid era. And he then got freakishly lucky by investing in PayPal before PayPal was a thing, because he heard the idea of what if we had a bank but it was on the internet, and thought that's a good idea. And much like the other guy who thought what if we had what if we had a mall but it was online, got freakishly wealthy, so did Elon Musk. And ever since, he's been just kind of investing in things, and like they haven't really gone anywhere outside of like him strong arming using his wealth to make people think he's successful and duping them into like investing in his business, you know? Stuff like SpaceX is like so horribly managed that like the government wants to stop using them. Like different officials in positions of authority over like space stuff want to not use SpaceX. But because of the scale of the government contracts that continually get thrown to Elon Musk, he's kind of become indispensable to the United States' space program, which is not great. You left out the best part. He tried to make PayPal into his shitty X thing, and he got yeeted out of the company because he was going to make it bankrupt. Yeah, no, like he's continually been like supplanted by people who know better how to run stuff than he does. But like he took over like the Tesla company and then like booted out all of the original founders and took sole credit for Tesla, and and then just turned it into a massive like investment scheme essentially. And yeah, it's been wild, and well, we're gonna watch the culmination of all of this. Did I hear what happened to the UK trans streamer called Finster? Does Finster use she/her pronouns now? I thought he was still using he/him. Any all? Okay, cool. The UK newspaper put her full name in it. That sucks. No, still he/him? Okay. Yeah, I thought he'd come out as like gender fluid and is on HRT. Yeah. I saw my first Cybertruck today, and my god, is the thing ugly. Doesn't surprise me, his company is poorly managed. Literally, the Cybertruck is so poorly like manufactured and designed that like it falls apart. The stainless steel body of the Tesla truck rusts. That's how bad his product ideas are. And on top of that, he announced that they were going to make robots, and he brought literally just a guy in a spandex suit on stage to dance and pretend to be a robot. Like, I can't with this guy. And on top of that, he's been telling people for like 15 years about the autopilot features of Tesla, and they have never worked. Not once. They like the sensors on the car can't tell if like a black person is in the crosswalk. Okay? Like they regularly ignore pedestrians. They're bad. And because he continually tells people that it's full self-driving, everybody, it's autopilot. People are like, oh yeah, I can take a nap while my car drives, and then they get into a horrible car accident and either kill somebody or die themselves. So, yeah, Elon Musk is a bad dude. And, well, here we go. We're diving in. We're gonna take a look at the Lemon and the Musk.
Welcome to the Don Lemon Show, everyone.
That's really quiet.
We're still here. In a minute, I'm going to bring you my...
We're still here? Why? That sounded really ominous, Don. Also, far be it from me to tell you how to run your show. I haven't even finished my makeup. But I feel like if you're naming it the Don Lemon Show, you really should lean into the lemon aspect of it. You know, have like a lemon-colored phone sitting next to you. Have like a lemon backdrop. You know, and lean into the color theming. I think that would be more delightful for your audience rather than industrial warehouse. like this. Let's be real. Don Lemon looks like he's in a place where the Russian mafia might take someone to torture them before killing them. You know, look, I'm just saying. I'm just saying, it looks like that.
My conversation with Elon Musk, the one that everyone is talking about. But first, let me tell you a bit about the show. Contrary to what you might have heard, we weren't canceled by X. Yes, after months of begging me, wooing me to offer some exclusive content on his platform, Elon Musk decided to scrap the deal. But our plan is, and always has been, to release this show everywhere, on YouTube, on Spotify, on iHeartRadio, just about any place you stream content. Now for my conversation with Elon. As with all my interviews, no restrictions, no ground rules, nothing off limits or out of bounds. That is until—
Whoa! He's an NSFW interviewer. That's crazy. I didn't see this turn coming. Wink.
The interview ended. So what went wrong? I don't know.
Look, my jokes
But
are
my
low
hope is that
hanging
you
fruit,
learned
folks.
something about both Elon and me, two people who come from completely different vantage points on almost every single issue. And I challenge you, Elon, to watch the whole interview and tell the world why this isn't what you claim you want on X. Thank you for inviting us here.
You're welcome.
Your Tesla headquarters. I'm surprised at how big it is. I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's about 3 times the size of the Pentagon.
Are they going to play that music every single time there's a scene transition? Like,
I'm surprised at how big it is. I've never seen it.
I'm surprised at how big it is. I've never seen it before.
Yeah, it's about 3 times the size of the Pentagon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about 3 times the size of the Pentagon, isn't it? Oh, yeah.
And we built it in 16 months. It's the fastest construction project in the United States since World War II.
So
Okay, I have not watched any of this yet, but I really hope they keep playing that sound effect periodically whenever there's a scene transition, because it's very silly. It's very, very silly. Has Elon ever made up with his daughter? Absolutely not. Are you kidding me? Nah. Elon still hates his daughter for being trans.
I'm here, as you know, I'm on the platform because you say you're a free speech absolutist, right? No conditions.
Yeah. Free speech is as much as possible within the bounds of the—
Okay, Okay, just a couple of things. We're gonna. I know that I might be nitpicking this a lot, okay, but that's just because I find it very funny. First of all, this still frame is incredible. This still frame right here is a 10 out of 10. Should be an emote. My God. Second of all, Very Knifey Duck, thank you for gifting a sub to Bread into Toast.
Toast into Snipe.
Hell yeah. Thank you very much for the gifted tier 1 sub. Let's go. And third of all, Elon Musk looks like he is having one of the worst days of his life. He looks haggard in this interview. Like, he's look at this weird like stubble line and like unshaved mustache. Like, dude's not doing okay. And the way he responded to a question about the very first one, which is about free speech on Twitter. This should be like the easiest layup for Elon to get started into this interview. And he seems like he's already flustered.
Free speech is
So you're a free speech
Like-
absolutist, right? No conditions.
yeah. Free speech is as much as possible within the bounds of the law.
Yeah. So
That shouldn't have been a hard question to answer, and yet it seemed like he was trying to pull out one of his own teeth while answering it. Is he high? Is that what's happening here?
The reason I'm saying that is because there are no conditions on this interview. You said that, we'll speak to you for an hour. I don't like sound bites, so I welcome that. So let's get into it. So we're here in Austin. South by Southwest is going on. We're at the Tesla headquarters. You are in the process of moving SpaceX here, I understand?
No. SpaceX has a massive facility in South Texas where we build and launch Starship. And then we have in Bastrop near Austin, we are about to start production at a Starlink, a large Starlink factory for Starlink terminals.
Okay, why on earth does he... Yeah, he looks rough, and he sounds like he's not fully aware of where he is. Like...
Austin, we are about to start production at a Starlink, a large Starlink factory for Starlink.
Why is no one pointing out that he seems like he's high as shit? I've been hearing people talk about this interview for a while. I haven't heard people talking about how, like, zooted this guy sounds. That's just normal? No. We've watched other interviews with him where he's, like, been, like, at least on the ball. Like, he's been, a dithering lunatic. He's been a dipshit, but he's never been like this. Does he take ketamine? I'm seeing some people saying that he does. Yeah?
Starlink terminals. But it's but we're not shutting down any facilities in California.
Listen, we are here as part of a launch of a news interview show that is going to be on X.com. It's coming as the media industry, as you know, is going through a whole lot of changes.
Yeah.
X has also been affected by that. Where do you see X.com's role in the future of news and journalism, Elon?
Well, I think I see the
X.com. Oh, Don Lennon, Don Lemon really is courting the boomer demographic here. People don't call it X.com. Come on now. Hardly anyone even calls it X. Most people just call it Twitter.
the X as it's really the number one.
Oh, he
source
does
of
take
news
ketamine.
in the world. So it is number one. The number one way that people actually are informed about any kind of news, meaning real-time events, is on the X platform, formerly Twitter. There's nothing even close for real-time news. So we also want to expand upon that, and we have done so with long-form content. So instead of just doing what used to be called tweets, you can now do long-form posts. You can post an entire essay. In fact, you can now post an entire book to the platform.
Wow. Just what I've always wanted, to read an entire book in a Twitter post. God, he really has his finger on the pulse of America. I've always wanted to do that. Just post an entire book on Twitter in one post. And you know what? Can we be real for a minute? Because we've been able to do that for ages. They're called forums. We've had those literally since like day 5 of the internet.
You can do long-form video content, so you can do up to 4-hour video segments. We really want news in whatever form it is, or information, I should say, in whatever form it is, to be available on our platform, whether it's short, long, text, pictures, video, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, and some of the stuff that we do, long-form video, interview shows, what have you.
Yeah.
You reached out over the summer and you said it would be great.
Oh, good. The transition sound doesn't go away. That's amazing. Thank you, Don Lemon. Thank you, fine editors at the Lemon Report. I for one appreciate your hard work and dedication to putting that transition sound every single time you scene swipe. I appreciate it because it's so goddamn goofy. to just hear it ping in the middle of a conversation.
To have Maddow, Don Lemon, others on the left put on this platform, you receive full support. The digital town square is for all. What do you mean by that?
Well, I just mean that we want to make sure
Every
that there
time.
are a wide variety of viewpoints. That it's, we always have, for example, Tucker Carlson, who most people will view as being on the right, and that's quite a prominent name on the right. We want to have prominent names on the left as well to provide different points of view.
It's true. When I think of, the leftists leading the vanguard, I think of Don Lemon.
Yeah, as well as centrists.
I think of the guy who got fired for talking about how a woman who's not ovulating anymore can't possibly be president. That's who I think of.
Just basically a wide range of viewpoints on the platform, so users can hear different opinions. They can hear, what's your point of view, what's Tucker's point of view, and and people can make their own decision about what they believe.
You didn't mean that I'm on the left? Did you think that?
I thought you were on the left, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, let's just say I don't know what the left is or the right is, frankly, these days, because things can be quite polarized. But you see,
Don Lemon's like, bruh, I vote Republican. Oh my god. How is this real? How has no one talked about how the rest of this interview is just a train wreck? I'm fascinated. This is like watching a train collision. I can't look away. It's so weird.
my impression was that you're more likely to be described as on the left than the right.
He's literally just finding out live that Don Lemon isn't the standard bearer of the left. This is insane. He's a billionaire. He's one of the world's richest human beings. And he couldn't, task someone on his staff to, find him an actual leftist person in the media. Instead, he was just like, oh, a black guy fired from MSNBC? Oh, okay. Must be a leftist. It's so weird to see, dude. And now he's on the spot. Yeah, Elon. Give me millions of dollars to host my show on Twitter, and I will certainly host my show on Twitter.com.
My sense is you're sort of center left. I don't know. You tell me.
Well, did you ever watch me on CNN, or did you watch?
I saw.
CNN. Sorry.
I saw segments.
Yeah.
But CNN.
He hired this guy without watching any of his content, dude. How is this real? How is this real life right now? How is he this bad? People usually are like, oh, well, CEOs, they need to come in because, they're master organizers and, they maximize efficiency. And it's like, this guy's the CEO of, 5 different companies, and, this is the level of organizing. This is his masterful skills at work right now. Elon Musk is probably so out of touch right now that he thinks that Don Lemon is doing this to gotcha him. This is probably the first moment where Elon's like, Don Lemon, you crafty fox. Getting me on here, hitting me with these hardball questions. Well, Don Lemon is just like, oh, I'm not a leftist.
And is generally considered left.
Yeah. Why do you say that?
Why do I say CNN is generally considered left? I think if you look at any sort of media survey of what is on the left or right, I think they would say, for example, Fox is on the right and CNN is on the left.
Yeah. So that's what is it?
Am I missing something here?
Okay. Are you missing something?
I
don't know. I think that when I read that, I said, like many of my critics or detractors, they never really watched me on CNN. They just saw the clips of me either on social media or maybe on Fox News or in conservative media, where it's sort of where I've become a character or a caricature of
Gamer
what
G.
I actually am, and it's taken out of context.
Fun fact, Don Lemon is also the guy who suggested live on air a black hole might have opened up on Earth and swallowed that Malaysian airliner that went missing.
What? Wait. Can we get that clip? Can we get that clip? Is that true? You're not just pulling my leg. You wouldn't just say something like that and lie on the internet, would you? That Don Lemon black hole. Oh my god.
What if it was hijacking or terrorism or mechanical failure or pilot error? But what if it was something fully that we don't really understand? A lot of people have been asking about that, about black holes and on and on and on and all of these conspiracy theories. Let's look at this. Noah says, what else can you think about? Black hole, Bermuda Triangle. And then Deji says, just like the movie Lost. And of course, they're also referencing the Twilight Zone, which is a
Lost wasn't a movie. What are you talking about?
very similar plot. That's what people are saying. I know it's preposterous, but is it preposterous, you think, Mary?
But is it preposterous, though? I don't know, guys. I don't know. What? What? Oh my god.
Well, it is. A black hole is about, you know, a small black hole would suck in our entire universe, so we know it's not that.
What? What? That's not how black holes work. What? A small black hole would suck in our entire universe? What? Oh no! How is he not the dumbest person on the panel for suggesting this?
That Bermuda Triangle is often weather, and Lost is a TV show. So I think I always like things for which there's data, history, crunch the numbers. So for me, those aren't there, but I think it's wonderful that the whole world is trying to help with their theories, and I absolutely love the theories.
Yeah, thank you to everyone who suggested that a missing airliner might be gone due to a black hole spontaneously opening up within Earth's atmosphere and then disappearing. Oh my god. Oh my god. That was so much funnier than I thought it could possibly be. Oh god. Whew. Anyway, how we doing? You doing okay, folks? Also, thank you for the $5 dono, Gamer G. I appreciate it. With another sub, you guys get or $5 dono, you guys get an outfit change. But first, I need to finish my makeup.
Well, how would you describe yourself?
I would describe myself as someone who is, I am independent in my thinking, and I vote for people based on the issues and how I feel about it, not necessarily because of political leaning of some sort.
Well, I agree with that approach. I think that's generally how people should take things, which is, I mean, there are a whole sort of set of issues which are sort of somewhat arbitrarily bucketed into right or left. But I think most citizens would think that they would agree with some things on the left, but not everything, or they agree on some things on the right, but not everything. So that's what I think most people feel, I guess.
Be more specific, Elon.
How much longer, and maybe the answer is forever, how much longer are we going to have to call it the formerly known as Twitter? I mean, even Prince went back to Prince instead of, is it always going to be X?
It's definitely always going to be X.
So X is going through some changes. As I said, a lot of media companies are going through some changes. You're in charge of an incredible platform, Elon. How do you feel that's going?
I think it's going pretty well so far. We're seeing record usage. We've added a tremendous amount of functionality. I mentioned the that it used to be that you could only do short text and maybe a picture or something like that, short video. But now you can do long form text, long form video. We've added audio video calling, so you can not just do text DMs, you can do audio video calling. We've improved the algorithm, I think, significantly, and made the system faster and better, and that's reflected in the increased usage.
So let's talk about that, because you said you wanted all points of view, right? It's a digital town square for all.
Yeah.
It's the platform has kind of picked up where some conservative media has left off. That moving to the right, increasingly becoming part of a conservative dialogue, and sometimes even conspiracy theories, right? There was an article recently written about you saying that you, Donald Trump, and X were the most important people or places or whatever icons when it comes to the MAGA movement. Do you agree with that? How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, there are nonsense articles written all the time, and I certainly wouldn't agree with that one. I put it in the nonsense category. So, the objective fact of the matter, in my opinion, was that old Twitter was fundamentally a tool of the far left, and that was really, I think, a lot of it was due to being located in San Francisco, Berkeley, and so it wanted to essentially project the SF Berkeley political dogma worldwide.
Do you think it was far left?
Yes, I do.
I used to I actually got off the platform because I would get so much hate tweets when it was called in, so much hate tweets and just guff from right-wing conspiracy theorists being called everything from, fag to...
Sure.
Damn!
It's the internet.
Damn, Don Lemon! Don Lemon dropping the F-bomb. Okay. All right. No constraints. Free speech. 10,000%. All right.
If people will do... I mean, I've been called every name times 1,000.
Yeah. Do you agree that it's right now, and that even it's moved into sort of MAGA land, conspiracy theory?
I certainly don't think it's right.
Did he just say that Elon Musk, that the richest man on the planet, has been called a faggot more often than Don Lemon? That he, a straight man, has been called the F slur more times than Don Lemon, who I believe is gay. Right? Yeah, he's gay. He's been out for like 13 years. I can't believe his response to a gay man is like, oh yeah, well, you might have been called the F slur, but I've been called 10,000 times more an F slur. Like, what are you doing?
Right. The old school Twitter suspended and suppressed accounts that you'd call on the right 10 times more than they did accounts on the left.
That's
and even
not
when
true,
they did
by
suspend
the
an
way.
account on the left, it was because of arguments between two people on the left. The political donations of old Twitter
He's already
were
lying, by the way.
99% Democrat. Does that sound left-wing or right-wing to you?
The Twitter donations?
Yes. When they look at donations from a company, if a company donates literally 99% of all donations are to Democrats, does that strike you as a left-leaning or a right-leaning
Oh, you
company?
mean the company donated? I understand what you're
What
saying.
I'm trying to tell you is that Twitter employees, people at Twitter, their political donations were 99%, literally 99%, to Democrats. That's obvious.
Wait, how do you know that? How do you know that your employees were donating 99% to Democrats? Where on earth would you get that type of extraordinarily personal information? Where would you get that? It sounds like you're kind of making it up, or you're stealing your employees' info. I need to get a Kleenex. I'll be right back. BRB. Back. Here we go.
Obviously, an extremely left-leaning group.
My question too, leading into this, was about MAGA. You, and speaking of MAGA, you recently met with Donald Trump in Florida. What did you guys talk about?
I was at a dinner. I was not done. I was at a breakfast at a friend's place, and Donald Trump came by. That's it.
So you didn't go there to meet him?
No, I went to a friend of mine's house, and it said Donald Trump's coming by for breakfast. Is that just so you know? Like, okay, fine.
What did you discuss?
I don't. Let's just say he did most of the talking.
What did you say?
The normal things he says. There was nothing particularly groundbreaking or new, but he, President Trump likes to talk.
Yeah. You just traveled out there and happened to bump into Donald Trump, and happened to exchange words with him in such a manner that you don't actually want to repeat what was said. Yeah. This all sounds totally legit, dude.
And so we talked. I don't recall him saying anything that he hasn't said publicly, and that was it. It was just a breakfast.
Did he ask you for money?
You didn't.
Did he ask you for a donation?
No.
He didn't.
No.
You said you're not going to donate to any candidate.
That's correct.
Why not?
I think while I'll voice my opinion, I think I don't want to put a thumb on the scale monetarily that is, significant.
Are you going to loan him money to help pay his bills?
No,
Not at all. Pay his legal bills.
I'm not paying his legal bills in any way, shape, or form.
And he did not ask you for money.
And he did not ask me for money.
Are you going to? So you're not going to endorse a candidate?
I may, in the final stretch, endorse a candidate, but I don't know yet. I want to make a considered decision before the election, and if I do decide to endorse a candidate, then I will explain exactly why.
Are you leaning towards anyone?
No.
You're not leaning towards anyone. Because you've been...
I'm leaning away from Biden.
You're leaning...
I've made no secret of that.
Are you concerned about losing your security clearance if Biden is reelected? Does that have anything to do with it?
No.
By the way, this is actually a pretty pointed question for Don Lemon to ask, mainly because there has been speculation that, Elon has been on the verge of losing his security clearance in the past. And so it's kind of interesting to see what exactly might happen here. Yeah. Also, I can't find the lipstick that I wanted to go with. Thought it was out here. It's not. I'll be right back. I'm back, and I didn't find exactly the one I was looking for, but I did find one almost as good. Here we go. Back to this. Also, we've been going for about an hour now. If you've been enjoying the show, please do consider dropping those subs and donos. Remember, hit the follow button on Twitch, hit the subscribe button on YouTube, like the YouTube stream, and please consider dropping those subs and donos, because those are what allow me to continue streaming, and without your support, I would surely perish. And I appreciate that you're all here with me, and that you guys continue dropping those subs and donos, because they really help me to live, and I like doing that, and it allows me to continue making this content. So, that in mind, consider doing that. Here we go, back into this interview. And I'll finish doing my makeup.
You are leaning away from Biden, but you're not going to endorse anyone. It seems like an endorsement of President Trump, because there are only two people who are running now. Nikki Haley is out.
I mean, a lot could happen between now and the election. So we'll see who, in the final analysis, are the choices for president. And at that point, I may or may not endorse one of the candidates. If I do, I will provide a very detailed explanation of why I am endorsing one or the
I'm
other.
sure,
At that point, might you contribute or donate?
I think it's unlikely.
So you have been posting up a storm, as you always do in the past couple weeks, about the redesign of the Tesla Roadster coming at the end of this year.
Is this the first time you're watching? It is the first time I'm watching. I've not seen any of this before. Omega Star, thank you for the $2 super chat. I appreciate you. Hell yeah.
Are there any kind of updates that you can talk about to expect from your flagship EV? I mean, Tesla stock is down in the last 6 months. What's next for the company?
You know, the stocks go up and down, but what really matters is, are we making and delivering great products? The Tesla products are outstanding. Last year, the Tesla Model Y was the best-selling car of any kind in the world. So it was about 1.2 million units. It was the best-selling car despite being, I think, around 50% more expensive than the next best-selling vehicle of any kind, not just electric. So I think that's a testament to the incredible work of the Tesla team.
Yeah.
And we launched the Cybertruck. Obviously, that's being very well received. We have, I think, over 1 million orders for the Cybertruck. It's a really special product. I think the Cybertruck is one of those products that comes along really once in several years, maybe once a decade. A Cybertruck is a once-a-decade product. It is so special and
What a humble and sincere salesman. It's a once in 100-year product. It's so special. Did you know that it's also a precious little birthday boy? Every single one of them is special, a special birthday boy, an individual labor of love. No, to make it, we got rid of all of the regulations that would make a vehicle safe to drive, and just decided to throw it at the wall. And I never saw it perform with crash test dummies, but I've been told that only like 1 out of every 3 children would be decapitated in an accident. So I thought that was good to go. It's really a once in a century product.
I think it's our best product. So
But everyone improves over time. I mean, Apple. I thought my phone was here, but Apple. The phone got better over time. I'm sure your cars will get better over time. You have been tweeting about the updates in the Roadsters. There's something that we should expect?
Sure. You did mention the Roadster. So, look, I don't want to give away, much more than what I've said publicly, except that the Roadster will be a collaboration between SpaceX and Tesla.
Oh yeah, Arg House, of course. Elon Musk is lying about not wanting his thumb on the scale. He's rock hard he's rock hard thinking about the thumb of his on the scale, okay?
So, you can expect some rockety stuff there.
A flying car?
Maybe.
It's a once in a century product like the Pinto. It's really blowing up like the Pinto. Yeah. Yeah. I love that Don Lemon just asked this guy straight-facedly about flying cars, and Elon Musk couldn't tell him the truth, which is that no, of course not. And instead is like, yeah, maybe we'll have flying cars. God.
Over on the main site already. But hey, here's a Prime.
Degenerate Triangle, thank you for the Prime sub. And you have indeed unlocked a new outfit. My God. For another 5 subs, I will properly hydrate myself. That's right, you can't get it. You can't get me to hydrate myself just by telling me I need water. I'm literally putting my life in your hands, chat.
It's not out of the question.
Go on.
No, I gotta reserve the cool stuff for the,
Should I change now? Or would you rather, like, we continue this and I change after the Don Lemon interview is over? Which are you guys... Which would you guys prefer? Drink water, damn it, for 5 subs, and or their dono equivalent. Wait till the interview is done? Okay. You'll enjoy the interview? Okay, we'll wait. We'll wait.
when we actually unveil it. But it's gonna be really cool. It's gonna have some rocket technology in it. I think the only
Whoa, it's gonna have rocket technology? Just the same way that my Discman had International Space Station technology in it? That's crazy, dog.
way to do something that's cooler than the Cybertruck is to...
By the way, it always pisses me off because, like, the image that people have in their head when you say it has rocket technology in it is like, whoa, you're gonna put a rocket jet to the back of this car? That's metal as hell. And in reality, it's like, your GPS is going to be marginally better.
Combine SpaceX
Yeah,
and
exactly, Sam and
Tesla
Miss.
technology to create something that's not even really a car.
NASA pillows. Hey, Mike, listen to this. Just, my God, oh no. Oh God, I just aged. Oh God, I just felt it. I just made a Back to the Future reference. And I realized most of you probably didn't get the reference. Oh God. This is what it's like getting old. No! Damn it! Okay, VCCTV, did you get my reference? Did you get my reference? Yeah, thank you, Very Knifey Tech. I'm glad. Run for it, Marty. Okay. I'm also old. I did. Okay, good. I'm ancient in comparison. Archangel DeKob, I just said to a room full of people, approximately, how many of you are watching right now? How many we got? We've got, oh God, like We've got about 200 people in here. Actually, we have over 200 people in here right now. And I just made a Back to the Future reference, a movie that's over 50 years old, and combined it with the pillow, like My Pillow guy, like Mike Pillow, and expected people to follow along with the connections my brain just made. And I have officially become like an old person. Like, I need to be wheeled back into the home. Oh no. It's how old? I said 50 years. Wait, is that true? Back to the Future came out in... Okay, it's not 50 years old. Okay, it came out in 1985. So it's not 50 years old. It's just 39 years old. Anyway, moving on. Time will kill us all.
Then what would it be?
Something that's never existed before.
I'm getting Jetsons vibes.
Totally Jetsons vibes. The audience may not be aware, like, some things that I have said publicly is that it'll do 0 to 60 in under 1 second. So that's by far faster than any, sports car that exists. And that's
Sorry,
not even
it
the
was
most
great.
exciting thing about it.
Does it have wings?
No, it just
No, Don. He's making it the fuck up. Of course it doesn't have wings. He hasn't even thought about what it looks like, Don. He hasn't thought about what it looks like. He's telling you he's making a flying car, Don. He's not. Oh yeah, Elon Musk over here secretly invented anti-gravity. It's not gonna have wings. Uh-huh, sure, bud.
does not have big wings, because big wings would be unwieldy on the road.
Does it have propellers?
It does not have propellers.
Okay. It has wheels.
It does have wheels.
Okay.
Roadster 20 questions.
Does it have a steering wheel?
Not exactly.
What is it?
You just strap yourself into it, Don, and then shoot yourself into the air and hope you land somewhere near where you want to go and don't blow up when you land. Like, what's so hard about this to understand, Don? What we put a couple wheels on one of these SpaceX rockets, and then we just, make sure we get the telemetry right and shoot you off, and then hopefully you land where you need to go. I don't know what's so complicated about that, Don.
It'll have a drive-by-wire yoke, essentially, like a
What?
kind of like the way aircraft or modern jets are controlled.
And do you think it's the way of the future that everyone
What?
will follow your lead on this?
I don't think anyone will ever make anything like the roadster that we're gonna make.
Let's talk now about.
Whoa. He's just saying words. Yeah, this is basically the just word association for Elon Musk. Like none of what he just said is anywhere remotely true.
SpaceX, Tesla, you got a lot of lawsuits. You've got X.com. You got a lot
It's
going
gonna
on.
have
How
a
do you
PlayStation
relax?
controller.
Well, I relax. I spend time with my kids.
Yeah, Elon Musk saw the submersible deep sea submersible disaster and thought, man, we need that control scheme in our cars.
My friends, and I, make somewhat of a nerd technologist. So I like playing video games. So I'll play video games with friends online.
Which one?
Lately I've been playing Diablo, but I've played almost all the games over the years.
What? You're so full of shit. How does anyone listen to this man and be like, ah, yes, this man is very intelligent and also very honest. He's played all of the games, chat. He played all of them. Every single one. That's bullshit. Because I've seen rooms with every video game ever made inside of them, okay? I used to work at Game Informer. I've seen inside of the Game Informer vault that has like every game ever released, and I can tell you Elon Musk is full of shit. It is, in fact, a lot of games. And I don't think he has played all of them because also a lot of them are bad. A lot of them are bad games. They're like junkware throwaway games. And on top of that, I don't know, if Elon Musk is familiar with Steam as a platform, literally every day there's another big titty hentai game coming out on Steam, okay? Every day there's 100,000 of them coming out on Steam. I don't think he's played all of them. He probably has tried, but I think he hasn't gotten through all of them, okay? He's probably stuck on one of them. I don't know which one. I don't want to guess what his obscure fetish is.
A long time ago, I was like semi-pro good at Quake. This is really dating me because we're talking about like 25 years ago.
Also, 25 years ago, there wasn't professional Quake. I mean, there might have been professional Quake, maybe, but semi-professional Quake, absolutely not. You're just saying that you thought you were pretty good at Quake.
I don't know video games. I just know that my great nephew loves Fortnite and some other stuff. He's always with the headphones and doing the thing. So that helps you relax, right? So
and the nice thing is if you've got friends in different cities and they're playing the same game, you can both go online at the same time and play the game together.
Oh wait, 25. Sorry, in my head, 25 years ago was 1985. So never mind. There was professional Quake 25 years ago. I'm just old.
Even though you're in different cities.
Listen, I'm not asking you anything that anyone else hasn't asked you about your controversial stuff that you...
Guys, I know. I literally covered pro esports. I literally did that. I literally did that for my job. I'm just old, okay? I'm just old. I interviewed the MLG guys way back in the day. I know.
You post a lot of controversial stuff. Is that considered blowing off steam?
Well, I guess I do enjoy using the platform. I mean, I do call the X platform the PvP, or player versus player platform. So in video games, there's player versus like environment, where you're not playing against other people, and then there's PvP, which is like hardcore. You're actually playing against other people, and
but that's blowing off steam for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is to some.
Yeah. One of the very first Quake, like big Quake events, was 1997. My God. Whew. They don't make them like that anymore. Literally, because it was at E3 and that's gone now.
To some degree, not always. I mean, obviously, I use it for to post jokes, to post, sometimes trivia, sometimes things that are of great importance.
So you do a lot of it at night, like late at night. So when you're doing this, are you sober when you do it? Okay.
Are you sober when you play video games, sir? Yeah, all the time.
Almost
Are
always,
you
yes.
under the influence of anything?
No, I don't drink. I don't really. No.
So you got no drink, no smoke, no nothing. I mean, you smoke pot with Rogan.
I had one puff.
Yeah.
I think.
Uh-huh. No, the event was in 1997. Why are you talking about 99? Why you posting at me like this?
Anyone who smokes pot can tell I don't know how to smoke pot.
But you've admitted that you have a ketamine prescription.
Yeah.
What's that for?
Well, I mean, it's pretty private to ask somebody about a medical prescription, you know. But I think it's something I'd say, like, there are times when I have sort of
What?
I don't know, like a negative chemical state in my brain, like depression, I guess, is or like.
This is a really weird way to respond to a question. If he is using prescription ketamine as directed, this is a weird way to respond to it.
Depression that's not linked to any negative news, and then ketamine is helpful for getting one out of a negative frame of mind.
Well, listen,
So in fact, I generally, obviously I'm not a doctor, but I would say if someone has depression issues, they should consider talking to their doctor about ketamine instead of SSRIs.
listen, I think that ketamine and drug therapy is increasingly becoming more in the mainstream.
Yeah.
Like, Don Lemon is not trying to alienate Elon Musk in this interview. And, like, here he's like, oh yeah, using ketamine is more mainstream now.
Do you think you're doing it under a doctor's care, right?
Yeah. Literally a prescription from an actual, a real doctor, not like,
Yeah. But do you feel like you ever abuse it?
I don't think so. If you use too much ketamine, you can't really get.
I don't think so. As opposed to, no, I use it in accordance with doctor directions. Interesting.
Work done. So I have a lot of work. So I'm typically putting in 16-hour days. That's normal.
Okay. If you are then like, no, I use it as normal, and work's just really rough. I'm pulling 16-hour days. That sounds like you're just trying to justify the fact that you don't use it normally. You don't use it as directed.
Normal for me, and it's rare for me to even take off a weekend day. So I don't really have
You're literally a billionaire. You could take off every single day from now until the day you die. There is no reason for you to be working 16-hour days. You liar. If he is working 16-hour days, that's not healthy, that's not okay, and anyone working a 16-hour-long day every day of the week except for one is going to just be dropping dead in, a couple months. Yeah, also, I don't believe that he's working.
Situation where I can be not mentally acute for an extended period of time. I can't really get wasted because I can't get my work done.
So how often do you?
Oh, yeah, no, there's no way I would get wasted if I had work to do. Yeah, nope,
Take it.
Well, it'd be a small amount once every other week or something like that.
But there's not on the bottle where it says take this dose this many times a week or whatever. If it's not a doctor's
the dose. And there are several weeks will go by where I don't use it.
You don't use it.
Yeah, I think like I said, I think what I find ketamine is if you literally a chemical state in your brain that you can't just think yourself out of, then ketamine is helpful for getting you out of a depressive mind state.
You suffer from depression, or you have a depressive mind state? And I asked you as someone who has suffered from depression.
I wouldn't say that I wouldn't say that I have a case of extended depression. It's just once.
Yeah, I don't know. I have chronic depression, chat. I've never heard of anyone being prescribed ketamine for every so often I get depressed. I've never heard of that prescriptive use of ketamine. And this is, again, I have chronic depression. I have it literally all the time, every day. And it sucks. But I've never heard this.
Once in a while, I get into a negative sort of chemical mind state. Once in a while, it's not a common thing, but once in a while it does happen.
Where do you think that comes from?
I think it's just genetic, basically.
You think it's just genetic history?
It can be when
I
you
think
own the
so.
doctor. True. True.
Yeah, I mean, some people are just wired to be happy all the time. Some are unfortunately wired to be sad a lot of the time. And in my case, I'm generally pretty pretty positive and optimistic. But once in a while, I don't know what happens. There's some, like I said, I think it's just chemical tides.
Ketamine, I have heard of ketamine being used to treat like severe cases of depression, but never like never like, oh yeah, it's just like a moderate low level, like every so often kind of thing. I've never heard of that.
In your brain once in a while. It's like a brain storm.
Yeah. Do you ever worry that this may get in the way of your government contracts and clearances, and also and Wall Street as well?
Well, from a standpoint of Wall Street, what matters is execution. You know, are you building value for investors? Tesla is worth about as much as the rest of the car industry combined, from nothing. So that's pretty good. As I mentioned, we had the best-selling car on Earth last year. So from an investor standpoint, if there is something I'm taking, I should keep taking it.
Have you talk about your ketamine use in depression? Have you also have said, and
the reason I should say, the reason I mentioned the ketamine prescription on the X platform.
He's being really weird about this. He's being really weird about it. If this was a normal thing, he would be less weird about it. Is Tesla actually worth that much? Tesla net worth. Tesla net worth as of March 18th, 2024 is $553.52 billion. Car industry net worth. The automotive manufacturing market is worth about $2.86 trillion. And that's as of 2021. So I don't think Tesla on its own is worth as much as all of the other ones combined. Also, yeah, the Tesla cars are not great.
Was because I thought maybe this is something that could help other people. That's why I mentioned it.
Yeah. Can we talk about the great replacement theory now?
Okay, Don. I wasn't expecting that from you. But all right. Let's dive into this. Okay. Don Lemon here, actually asking Elon Musk about the conspiracy stuff that he's sharing around.
Some of the things that you post, a great replacement theory. You claim that Democrats, President Biden's immigration plan to open up the border, you said that the president is getting, and Democrats are doing it to get more votes.
By the way, just gonna throw this one out there. Elon Musk tweeted this out yesterday. Boosted an account on Twitter called Western Lensman, which is just this video. Democrat open borders plan to entrench single-party rule, which is explicitly the Great Replacement theory, by the way.
The Democrat open borders plan to entrench single-party rule, explained in under 2 minutes. 1. Flood the country with untold millions of illegals by land, sea, and air from all over the world, enough to eclipse the populations of 36 individual U.S. states.
Yeah, this is the Great Replacement theory, which is essentially that Democrats and unspecified, but ultimately, if you dig deep enough into the conspiracy theory, Jewish interests are bringing in black and brown people through the southern border of the United States to give them voting rights and then seize control over the United States and replace white people. Yeah, usually like George Soros has some kind of connection to it. This is just straight up like racist and anti-Semitic theory. conspiracy theory.
So far. 2. Prioritize the needs of these millions of non-citizens over the needs of the American citizen, with free flights, buses, hotels, meals, and phones, ensuring their loyalty to the political party that imported them. 3. Keep them in the country at all costs, even when they commit violent crime like murder and rape.
Yep, it's true. When those undocumented immigrants create, do crimes like murder and rape, we definitely just keep them in the country. We're like, oh, you're an undocumented immigrant, you're free to go. Yep, that happens every time.
Attack the language used to describe the criminals, as opposed to the criminals themselves. Slander critics as racist. 4. Ensure their privileges are made irrevocable with city and state sanctuary laws that act as population magnets. Codify permanent status and ensure non-cooperation with ICE. 5. Count the non-citizens in the census that will determine congressional apportionment in the House of Representatives. As of now, that would equal 13 extra congressional districts, a tremendous amount of electoral power. 6. Wage a massive, heavily funded lawfare
There are hundreds of seats in the House, just as an FYI.
campaign to change state voting laws that legalize mass mail-in ballots. No
Literally, by design, the census is designed to count citizen and non-citizen, which is important considering that, previously citizens were only people who could vote, and the only people who could vote were, white landowning men. So the census is literally designed to count non-voting individuals, like children, and, at the time, women, etc., minority groups, etc.
No signature verification and no proof of citizenship requirements.
When you go to vote, they verify who you are. You can't just show up and vote with, no identification, no proof of who you are, no registration, etc., etc., etc. You can't, that's not a thing you can do, actually. Yeah, you have to be on a voter roll. You have to be registered to vote. Never forget the right once you dead and will say anything to get you there. True, R-Key. Thank you very much for jumping over to the Riverboat site. I appreciate it.
Making it nearly impossible to prove voter fraud. 7. Lock in the permanent voting majority with campaign promises of lavish benefits and permanent privileges.
Oh no. Politicians promising to give voters things that they want? The horror. It's almost like we live in a democracy. No!
Enshrining generational fealty to the Democrat Party. 8. Win elections. 9. Entrenched single-party rule has been achieved. The best part? Your tax dollars are paying for it.
Wow, what a great video that totally provided tons of facts and logic to back up its opinion. Just as an FYI, in case you guys don't know this, essentially, none of that is happening. You can't vote if you're an undocumented immigrant. The idea that they are bringing them in to, on purpose as part of a long con here is ridiculous. That's not happening. It's wild, but it's also very interesting to me that essentially, if you noticed, one of those steps was just win elections. And yeah, that's how a democracy works. Yeah, you have to win the elections. The moving pictures wouldn't lie to me. So true. So true. Oh God, what was the other thing I wanted to point out in this video? Lavish benefits and permanent privileges. God. Yes, the lavish benefit of having food and not dying of starvation in the street. Such a lavish benefit. Hey, Shakespeare. But anyway, that's the kind of thing that when Don Lemon asks Elon about great replacement theory, he's specifically referring to that type of conspiracy fear-mongering. Here we go.
But undocumented immigrants cannot vote in federal elections, so how is that possible?
Right. Well, you're conflating two things. One is great replacement theory. The other is, which I don't subscribe to that. I'm simply saying that there is an incentive here. If legal immigrants, which I think have a very strong bias to, at least everything I've read, it's a very strong bias to vote Democrat. The more that
they can't vote though. What does it matter what their voting bias is if they can't vote?
Coming to the country, the more they're likely to vote in that direction. But it is
like, guys, there's a guy in Kansas. We've talked about him recently, Chris Kobach. Okay, Chris Kobach is the Attorney General of Kansas, and he, under Donald Trump, was appointed as part of a anti-voter task force, effectively tasked with finding voter fraud for the Trump administration to prove that there was rampant voter fraud. He's a Republican. He is a lifelong proponent of this idea that people are illegally voting all the time in all of our elections. And after multiple years of trying to find this evidence, they quietly shut down Chris Kobach's task force. Now, this was like maybe, I want to say like 6 years ago. And they quietly shut down that task force because they couldn't find any evidence of undocumented people voting in elections. They couldn't find evidence of voter fraud. And if the tens of millions of people are really voting illegally in our elections, it would be pretty easy to figure out if millions of people were truly not legally voting, especially when you have motivated actors like Chris Kobach looking for it. And instead, weirdly enough, Chris Kobach and the state of Kansas had to pay out settlement money, millions of dollars in settlement money, because they kept harassing and framing people who hadn't committed voter fraud of voter fraud. They had to pay out taxpayer money to people for illegally accusing them of fraud. So, like, when we talk about, like, oh, voter fraud and all that stuff, it's not an issue. Because if it was an issue, Republicans would have found evidence from the myriad of different committees they've put on the task. And instead, they've had to go with all of the lies that were told about the 2020 election, which resulted in January 6th and is now resulting in a litany of lawsuits. Crazy. Here we go. Off topic, but trans as hell. HF 4657 was approved tonight. The prohibition of the trans panic defense is moving to Minnesota's House. Hell yeah. Let's get rid of that in every state.
It is, in my view, a simple incentive to increase voters, Democrat voters.
But yeah. there's no process for them to become Democratic voters, Elon.
Yeah. So the question is like how? So there's a few ways that this works. One is that when the census is done, the census is based on all people in an area, whether they are citizens or not. So if there are a concentration of people who came here illegally in a particular state or in a particular state, that state will actually then get an increased number of House seats.
Damn, Elon. It's almost like if this was the way to rig elections, Republicans would be bringing in as many undocumented immigrants as possible. Oh, wait, you mean that that's not actually a way to meaningfully grow power and win elections. That's crazy.
So the House seat apportionment is proportionate to the number of people, not the number of citizens. So the illegals overwhelmingly go to places like California and New York, and if you just look at the math, if you look at the apportionment with and without illegals, I believe California would lose. I believe the blue state, there would be a net loss of blue states of approximately 20 seats in the House.
By the way, just as an FYI, one of the things that people might want to look into if they're actually concerned about how, concentrating and moving people around might affect the census and distribution of like political power in America. One of the things to look at, considering that America is one of the most one of the nations on Earth with the most, if not the country with the most imprisoned people on the planet. People might want to look into the concept of prison gerrymandering. Effectively, where you put a prison concentrates a whole lot of people in one spot, which can swing how the census counts different areas, where political power is, concentrated due to the census. I don't know, just thought might be something to look into. I don't know, just throwing it out there anyway, as a little bit of an idea, a little idea arena.
This also applies to the Electoral College.
Yep, prisoners count in the census, but they can't vote, and that sucks.
So you say, like, well, this also applies to electing the president, because the electoral votes are also done by apportionment the same way that House seats are done.
But the reason, Elon, the Electoral College is in place is to balance that, is so that doesn't happen. So what you're saying about it is the exact opposite of the reason why the Electoral College is there. The Electoral College at this point, in our history, gives people who are in smaller states and red states much more of an influence over our elections than people who are in blue states, and the majority of the people in this country. That's what the Electoral College does. It actually does the exact opposite of what you're saying. It protects people who are in smaller states and protects people who are in red states.
It's true. The Senate gives two seats for every state, regardless of population, which means that states with 100,000 people have as much say in the national political stage as states with tens of millions.
Well,
the red states, because they tend to be smaller and less populous.
I think that statement is what you said is true, but what I said is also.
Why the fuck can't prisoners vote? Oh, in the United States, if you are incarcerated as like for a God, what's the term? A felony. If you're incarcerated for a felony, you lose the right to vote. Yeah, it's pretty anti-democratic, but it's also one of the reasons why the United States has the highest level of incarcerated individuals on the planet, and that is because it was a plan put into place in the 70s to clamp down on African Americans and hippies in order to take them out of the voting pool. The war on drugs was effectively an anti-voter operation with a whole lot of marketing. And it sucks.
So true, which is that if, as is the case, a disproportionate number of legal immigrants go to blue states, they amplify the effect of a blue state vote. And the math, as I understand it, you can research this obviously very easily on there. It's pretty straightforward.
Man, it's so weird how Elon Musk just breezed right by the fact that like there are currently multiple mechanisms in our democratic process that favor less populated areas. Interesting.
To research this, but my understanding is that there would be that the Democrats would lose approximately 20 seats in the House if illegals were not
Can felons vote if they're out of prison? In some states. It varies on a state-by-state basis.
counted in census. And that's also 20 less electoral votes for president. So the illegals absolutely do affect the who controls the House and who controls the presidency. It does not affect the Senate.
Yeah. In blue states, you're talking about. I
Yes.
don't believe that your information on that is right. So listen, let's talk more about the Great Replacement, because the first time that you posted on X about this Jewish conspiracy, you ended up apologizing.
I didn't call it a conspiracy. I just said that there's a simple matter of incentives. You don't need a conspiracy when you have basic incentives. In my view, there's a basic incentive that is fundamental that for the Democrat Party to foster and usher in a large number of illegals. Yeah. And you don't need a conspiracy in that case because you have a very basic incentive. You could say I'm wrong about that incentive, but that's my view. I'm not buying into. I didn't buying some great replacement theory. I'm simply saying there appears to be a very clear incentive for Democrats to maximize the number of illegals because it helps them win elections.
I'm talking about the Great Replacement theory is also part of a Jewish conspiracy theory. And when you did the tweet, or you responded to the
God, I forgot. I forgot about the transition noise, guys. It's back. God.
tweet about that, you ended up apologizing, and which I think is, it's good that you ended up apologizing. You went to Auschwitz with Ben Shapiro.
Yeah.
Right? So you said you learned your lesson. What did you learn?
Funny story about Elon Musk going to Auschwitz, and I meant to bring this up a long while ago, but I never got around to it. So, let me see if I can find this here. Oh, where is it? I need to find it, dude. It's too good. I need to find it. It's actually too good for me not to. All of these articles are garbage. I don't want these articles. There's one specific article that I'm looking for about his visit to Auschwitz. Where is it? Oh, come on. What the fuck is up with his stubble? I don't know. I genuinely have no idea. I don't want any of these fawning pieces that have been written about his visit to Auschwitz. I need the account of the Holocaust survivor that came with him. Because I think it perfectly encapsulates exactly how little Elon Musk gives a single shit about any of this. Ah, I think I found it. Yep, found it. Here we go. This is from the Times of Israel. At Auschwitz, Musk, Shapiro, and the invisible Holocaust survivor. At 88, Gidon Lev agreed to step foot in Auschwitz for the first time in his life, hoping to be more than just window dressing. Update. After this post was published, I received an email from Ben Shapiro. In it, he expressed he was saddened by that our take was different from his own. I've added his response below. Okay, I didn't actually know that update had happened. All right, let's dive in here. January 22nd, 2023 dawned early and cold in Krakow. My life partner, Gidon Lev, and I had flown to Poland on a very last-minute invitation from the European Jewish Association for a special occasion to take a private tour of Auschwitz with none other than Elon Musk. We bundled up and headed downstairs to the hotel lobby to wait for our car and those traveling with us. A few minutes later, we were at the front of a strange caravan of cars with tinted windows gliding through the streets of Krakow. One of those cars, naturally, was a Tesla. Because Gidon has a high profile on social media, he regularly receives invitations to speak or be interviewed. We discuss each request carefully. To whom will Gidon be speaking and why? Are these students or adults? Is this on Zoom or will Gidon have to travel? Is Gidon well enough to travel? Is he up for yet another interview? Gidon has one golden rule. If the talk is for school kids, he will always make it work. But this is something different. Elon Musk is arguably the most powerful human on the planet. This was Elon Musk, the strange cipher of a person who sends rockets into space and platforms conspiracy theorists and white supremacists on X. We had to consider this invitation carefully. Like, my God. Like, I feel like if at this point you're like, well, this is the guy known for posting, like, anti-Semitic conspiracies, should we go? I feel like the answer should be no at that point. For Gidon, who had spent 4 years in, I don't know how to say that, Theresienstadt? Auschwitz was a place he had resolutely never set foot in. He has turned down other invitations to go in the past. For Gidon, Auschwitz was what being sent east from Theresienstadt looked like. It was where his father, Ernst, number B12156, was sent in September of 1944. It was a place of nightmares. Could Gidon's presence on this tour, this dare really for Musk to visit Auschwitz, make any difference to Musk? Would Musk, who self-identifies as having Asperger's, that's interesting, I haven't heard that before, but okay, be able to feel any empathy toward Gidon or appreciation for his age and the emotional and physical distance he had traveled to be here? We knew Musk's visit was a loaded one and would be a difficult journey on every level, but Gidon felt he had an obligation to rise to the occasion. And rise he did on the January 19th at 1:30 in the morning to greet the driver sent to us at our home in northern Israel to get us to Ben Gurion by 3 a.m. to catch a flight to Krakow by 6 a.m. We both caught a cold on the cramped puddle jumper plane. When the caravan of tinted window cars arrived at Auschwitz, the media was already there with their whirring cameras. There were handshakes and greetings. Musk introduced his coatless toddler son as Little X and promptly hoisted him onto his shoulders. Conservative political pundit Ben Shapiro was there too. I do not recall whether he greeted Gideon. Naturally, Shapiro was focused on Musk. After all, it was due to Shapiro that Musk was there at all. Shapiro was surrounded by a fairly large team of his people. Wow. Musk was too, including 6 or 7 very well-dressed and serious security guards whose eyes never stopped sweeping from left to right. It is very weird to me that, like, if this is accurate, by the way, it is very weird for Ben Shapiro not to take any notice of a Holocaust survivor that flew out on short notice to go to Auschwitz with him. All right. You may have seen the photos of Elon Musk and Ben Shapiro under the Arbeit Macht Frei sign at Auschwitz. The handsome elderly man on the left with the sparkling blue eyes and rainbow scarf is Gideon. Dude got up at 3 a.m. to be here. Or, sorry, dude got up at 1:30 in the morning to be here. And he's ancient. Good on him. Our brisk tour commenced. At my insistence, the EJA had given Gideon the option to ride in a golf cart if he got too tired. Eventually, Gideon did take advantage of this. It was 22 degrees Fahrenheit, or 5 centigrade, and there was ice and snow on the ground. I had never been to Auschwitz either. I expected to be overcome with emotion, but somehow the freezing temperatures, the brisk pace of the tour, the intimidating security men and the cameras clicking, and the entourage, not to mention other tourists held back at a distance and staring curiously as we passed, made it impossible for me to connect with my surroundings. I kept an eye on Gideon, ensuring he was warm enough, keeping up with the tour, and doing okay emotionally. Gideon did admirably, I thought, and even chimed in occasionally. Musk peered at Gideon intently, seeming to listen to him. Shapiro did not seem to register Gideon at all. Man, this article is an indictment of Ben Shapiro. I hadn't actually read through the entire thing. Shapiro and Musk laid a wreath at the Wall of Death while the cameras whirred. We waited for Gideon's turn to lay a wreath too, but there was no wreath for him. Gideon had brought a copy of a photo of his father so he could show it to Musk. Having done so a bit earlier, Gideon laid the photo of Ernst near the wreaths and put a small stone on it. We said a little prayer for Ernst together and cried some frozen tears, thinking how he must have suffered. But Musk, Shapiro, and their respective entourages had already moved on without us, and it took us some time to catch up and bring up the rear of this strange parade. They literally flew a Holocaust survivor to Auschwitz for the first time in his life, where his father died, and ignored him while he was there. They literally didn't even bother to bring a wreath for him to lay at the Wall of Death. This is insanely insensitive. My God. And then but honestly, what gets me the most is not forgetting a wreath or whatever. It's the fact that they cared so little about this Holocaust survivor that they just left him there. They didn't wait for him. They didn't commiserate with him or show any kind of empathy. They just kept going. They left him behind. They used him for photo ops, like a prop. They treated a man who survived the Holocaust like a goddamn prop. For a week, Gideon worked very hard on a speech he would give at the gala dinner planned for that evening. He had some pointed things to say to Musk about anti-Semitism online and social responsibility. We knew it was unlikely that either Musk or Shapiro would be at the dinner after finishing the tour and their much-anticipated onstage talk. And, of course, no surprise, the two had already made their departure, having better, more important things to do than to listen to Gidon and many others, including the parents of Ener Shapira, speak. I don't know who this is. Oh, an Israeli killed during the Hamas attack last year. Makes sense. It took Gidon and me more than 14 hours to return to Israel. We had to get up at 2:30 in the morning to catch a shuttle at 3 a.m., fly to Warsaw, spend 5 hours waiting for a flight to Tel Aviv. By this time, Gidon had a bad cough. Awkwardly, he stretched out over the terribly uncomfortable airport chairs and unsuccessfully tried to sleep. Back into the puddle jumper plane we went, exhausted, our pockets stuffed with tissues for our colds. During the flight, Gidon decided to write Musk a letter since he hadn't heard his speech. I promised that once we got home, I would help Gidon with that and try to get a missive to Musk's people. This I did, but I would be shocked if Musk responded, which apparently he never has. Last evening, I stumbled across an interview with Shapiro on Piers Morgan Uncensored on YouTube. Morgan was quite curious about what Shapiro made of Musk in that visit. In the background, a picture came on screen. The one of Gidon on his left, Menachem Margolin of the EJA, Musk, Little X, and Shapiro. Shapiro didn't mention the old guy in the photo or having met Gidon, but then why should Gidon have stood out to Shapiro? Gidon is not a powerful man, a pundit, or a political figure. He was just the Holocaust survivor set dressing off to the side, meant to kosher the whole experience. Shapiro is a very busy man these days, so big picture, it's a small thing. An oversight, really, that he didn't acknowledge the presence of an 88-year-old Holocaust survivor, nor the effort Gideon made to join this politically and emotionally loaded, elaborate photo op. After all, Ben was on the Piers Morgan show. He had bigger fish to fry. Holy shit! Oh my god! After the blog was published, I received an email from Ben Shapiro. In it, he expressed that he was very saddened for our take. That our take was different from his own, and that, in fact, he was honored to meet Gidon. Ben's email read in part, quote, I treasured my interaction with Gidon, and I certainly did not interpret our interactions the way you did. I'm sorry if you and Gidon felt differently. His story is amazing. I was intensely interested in his time at Terezin. In your piece, you say, I don't recall if I greeted Gidon. I not only greeted Gidon, I was deeply moved to do so. To meet with someone who survived the worst atrocity ever produced by mankind is always a true honor. But I have to say, I feel like given that the author of this piece is literally the person who is responsible and like spends time with Gidon on a day-to-day basis, I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess that Ben Shapiro might be bending some facts a little bit. Especially considering the person who wrote this was also there that day. But sure, Ben. Sure. Maybe you didn't ignore the 88-year-old Holocaust survivor that got wheeled out for a photo op with Elon Musk, but it kind of sounds like Elon Musk didn't say hello and didn't treasure his time with this man. Crazy stuff. Anyway, back to Elon Musk being asked about his support for an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. Let's go. Wait, bit of a tangent. I recently realized that I only know one living Holocaust survivor. I grew up surrounded by them within my family and my community and everywhere else. But I've attended 3 funerals just in the last few years, and I only know one who's still alive. I'm sorry to hear that, BBBBB. Time is cruel. I'm sorry to hear that.
Learn.
Can I have a link to the article? Yeah, here, I'll post it in chat. Is it right here? No, that's the picture. I closed it. Of course you can have it. It was hard to find. But there you go.
I said I learned my lesson.
You said you learned your lesson when you apologized, and you said you went to Auschwitz. You saw what.
No, I was already aware of these things. And the nature of my comment that really inflamed people, what I was trying to say, and I did very quickly clarify, this is what I'm saying, is that a number of prominent Jewish philanthropists fund groups that they should really take a closer look at funding, because some of the groups they fund, I think, are anti-Semitic.
Yeah. Do you understand the connection between the two? There's a connection between, you said Democrats, the Great Replacement Theory, but when it comes to the actual Great Replacement Theory, originally it was started about Jewish people, as you said, flooding in the country, and then now people are using it for Democrats, saying the same thing about Democrats. Flooding.
In my view, it's a simple matter of incentives.
Yeah.
I actually don't see an incentive for Jewish people to want to have legal immigration. I don't.
But if someone were to articulate an incentive to you, you would start believing it, right? Is that about right, sir?
I don't think there is such an incentive.
The Great Replacement Theory is a neo-Nazi trope. It's in the neo-Nazi manifesto. It's in the Turner Diaries. It's referenced by the Buffalo mass shooter in his manifesto, where 10 people, black people, were murdered in Buffalo. There's the actual title of the Christchurch Shooters Manifesto. 51 people in the Muslim mosque were murdered. 23 people murdered in El Paso by a shooter who used the same language that you use in that manifesto when you say Hispanic invasion. Is that not?
I didn't say an Hispanic invasion.
And you quoted a tweet that called it a Hispanic invasion.
If I quote something, it doesn't mean I agree with everything.
Look, just because I'm quote tweeting something and saying interesting doesn't mean I agree with all of it. Uh-huh.
It's just something that I think this is something worth people should consider.
Why would you quote something that you didn't believe?
Because anything I quote is going to have a whole range of statements. Doesn't mean I agree with everything in it.
Do you think if you moderated yourself,
can I just in case there's anyone watching this who doesn't quite understand, this is like saying, this is like seeing the statement, white people are better than black people, and then retweet it, like quote tweeting it and being like, this is interesting. I mean, we can come to a conclusion about what you think based on what you're quote tweeting and thinking is interesting. Okay? Like, that's well within our ability to arrive to a conclusion about.
More if there was better content moderation on the platform, that you wouldn't have to answer these questions from reporters about the great replacement theory as it relates to
I don't have to
Democrats,
answer these questions.
the great replacement theory as it relates to Jewish people. Do you think that?
I don't have to answer questions from reporters. Don, the only reason I'm doing this interview is because you're on the X platform and you asked for it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to. Wait, what was even the question?
About the great on yourself. If
whole range of statements doesn't mean I agree with everything in it.
Do you think if you moderated yourself more, if there was better content moderation on the platform, that you wouldn't have to answer these questions from reporters about the great replacement theory as it relates to
Democrats? I don't have to
Democrats,
answer these questions.
the great replacement.
He's so mad. Wait, does this continue on? Okay. All right. So we're halfway through this interview and he's already breaking. My God.
The theory as it relates to Jewish people. Do you think that?
I don't have to answer questions from reporters. Don, the only reason I'm doing this interview is because you're on the X platform and you asked for it. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I would not do this interview.
So you don't think? Do you think that you wouldn't get in trouble, or you wouldn't be criticized for these things?
I'm criticized constantly. I could care less.
You don't care.
You seem pretty mad though for someone who doesn't care.
No, I don't.
Why not?
I don't think people should care what the media thinks about them. They're terrible judges of character.
Even someone who has one of the biggest social media and biggest information platforms in the world, you don't care, you don't think that you have any X.com or you have any response?
Yeah, like the implication here that like Don Lemon has an elite strike team with like sniper rifles like trained on Elon Musk, forcing him to answer the questions. If you don't answer, we take the shot. Like, yeah, of course Don Lemon can't force you to answer any questions. That's what an interview is. Interviews aren't done under duress in normal media, anyway.
Responsibility to the truth or moderating the platform?
You're conflating the truth with the media, and I think the media is not truthful.
Well, not with just the media. I mean, just the truth in general.
I care about the truth very much. That's why we have, for example, community notes on the system, where in order for a community note to surface and provide corrective information about what somebody posts, and
I did. Okay, you know what? I will give exactly one piece of credit to Elon Musk, and I'm guessing that because it is decent, it probably came from somebody else. Community notes seem to be pretty okay. As like a feature, kind of like a Wikipedia type like correction thing, they seem to be okay. Like I see a potential like sliver of value to that, you know? That there it is. That is that, and because it's a good idea, it probably didn't come from Elon.
My posts are equally subject to this. I've been community noted many times. In order for a community note to surface, people who have historically disagreed must agree in order for a community note to surface.
What was it there before Elon Musk? I don't know if it was. But if it was, then I rescind all of that credit. He just rebranded them. They were in Twitter before he bought it. Wait, what were they called before community notes? I don't remember that feature. Hey, Berserk Jazerk. Never mind then. Whoever came up with this before Elon, that was a good idea. And I'm a bit upset that I tried to give credit to Elon Musk for it. Also, folks, we've been going for almost 3 hours now. If you've been enjoying the show, please remember to hit the follow button on Twitch, hit the subscribe button on YouTube, like the YouTube stream, and please do consider dropping some subs or donos, because that would certainly help me to continue to be alive and continue to make content, because this show is brought to you at the end of the day by viewers like you, and I would very much like them more. I love this show. Good. You look really pretty tonight. That's because I did my makeup, because chat raised enough subs and donos for me to do my makeup, but they haven't raised enough subs and donos for me to drink water, so I'm slowly dying. Oh, the community notes were launched in 2021? Wait, what were they called? Oh man, it was formerly called Birdwatch. That's so much more fun. It's so much more fun. God damn it. Like the stream if you like Jack? True. So Elon made it worse? Yeah. Damn it. Soon her mouth will be drier than the Sahara Desert. Removing it. No, I'm not gonna finish that thought. Moving on.
Surface. And all of the code for community notes is open source. All of the data is open source, so you can completely recreate it from scratch. The way to build trust is transparency.
I have noticed community notes. I think that you are right about that, and I do think community notes are helpful. I think any type of content moderation, I do think that's helpful. You recently called content moderation, though, a digital chastity belt. Do you think that you believe that X and you have some responsibility to moderate hate speech on the platform?
I think we have a responsibility to adhere to the law, and we have a responsibility to be transparent about when things are shown, why they're shown. So that's why we open source our algorithm. I think once you start going beyond the law, now you're putting your thumb on the scale. And we don't want to put our thumb on the scale.
It doesn't.
Oh yeah, you destroyed my love for Elon. You all know how much I loved Elon right before this.
Concern you that hate speech has gone? Research shows that it's gone up on the platform since you took over. That's not concerning to you?
I believe that is false. In fact, the research that I've seen says it went down.
The study from the Institute of Strategic Dialogue found that anti-Semitic tweets doubled from June 22 to February 2023. One study reported that as many as 86% of the posts reported for hateful content remained up after being reported. Hate speech.
Elon's just like prepping himself to say, well, during that, I have research that says during that same period of time, it actually got cut in half. It's at half the levels it used to be. That's what research? It's from the Institute of My Dick.
On the platform is up.
And then he starts crotch
so
shopping
what they will
at Don
typically
Lemon.
do is they will count the number of posts, but not count the number of views. So what matters is, was that post given high visibility, or what did like one person see it? And if you look at the number of views of how many times was hate content viewed on our platform, it is down substantially.
What? Oh, well, if the impressions say that it's been seen by less people, then I guess that's okay. There might be more hate speech, but it's being seen by less people. I don't think is the win that you think it is, my guy.
Yeah. Well, that's not was what the study shows. And you said you like transparency. I'm going to show you this. And
Don, you can get a study that will tell you whatever you want.
But these are just a handful
I know, because I've bought many studies myself.
of extremely. You look at those anti-Semitic
Jesus
and
Christ.
racist tropes and tweets, and as of this morning, they're still on X. And from your own content policy, these posts should have been deleted. So why haven't they been deleted? Why are they still there? Did you?
We delete things if they are illegal.
But these have been up there for a while.
Are they illegal?
They're not illegal, but they're hateful, and they can lead to violence. As I just read to you, the shooters, in all of these mass shootings, attributed social media to radicalizing.
So
them.
Don, you love censorship, is what you're saying.
No, I don't love censorship.
Then why are you asking?
I believe in moderation, but I don't believe in
Censorship moderation is a propaganda word for censorship.
But don't you think free speech is one thing, right? Or not,
Look, if
not
something's
censorship?
illegal, we're going to take it down. If it's not illegal, then we're putting our thumb on the scale and we're being censors.
You're putting your thumb on the scale for moderating hate speech. I mean, you don't put out child pornography. That's not.
It's illegal.
Some people would say that's considered censorship. I'm just saying, you.
No, I literally, Don, I literally said, if something is legal, okay, we will obviously remove it.
Yeah, isn't like one of the biggest accounts on X right now, like Dom Luker, and like didn't he like literally get clapped for like sharing like child pornography? Was that not a thing? Am I hallucinating that? Oh, okay, he did do that. Okay, cool. Yep. Super normal. Anyway.
Okay.
He's currently on
But
the
if
app
it's not
still.
legal, the laws in this country are put forward by the citizens. We're a democracy. If those laws are put in place by the people, we adhere to those laws.
Okay.
Well, and the thing is, Sam and Moose, Don has kind of let this bit get away from him, but like Don Lemon isn't trying to give him a hardball interview here. Don Lemon is trying to give him a softball that he can, like a softball interview that he can walk away from with like his image intact, like with his reputation as a journalist intact. He wants to be able to say, oh, I held Elon's feet to the fire, and like also have Elon still in his good graces. So he is not trying to play hardball here. But Elon is taking every question so hard that like Don is just like asking like, oh, like what about this though? Is this not like hateful, vile stuff. And Elon's like, well, you know, like he's just like withering away.
Here's the
Agreed.
laws of others. If you go beyond the law, you're actually going beyond the will of the people.
Okay, agreed with the law. But if you are doing something that promotes hate and violence and ultimately leads to killing, you don't feel you have any responsibility not to do that? When the people who are doing it admittedly are saying
there's articles.
Yo,
Elon stinky, Elon stinky, Elon stinky, Elon stinky.
it's true. Thank you for the tier 2 sub, Drago. My God, rising to the top of the Riverboat Jack leaderboards today. My God. 3 more subs until I can hydrate. Delicious, delicious agua.
All the time that lead to violence and killing. Don't they? Shouldn't they? Like you're applying a differential standard to.
But that would never be in mainstream media. These types of images, that type of language, those things would never be. We'd never, when I was in mainstream media, we'd never promote things that would be anti-Semitic. We would never promote things that would.
Anti-Semitic either.
Did you not see those?
You said promote. If content is on the platform, that doesn't mean we promote it.
But that wouldn't be on a platform for mainstream media at all.
No, but you can think of that's because the mainstream media has like whatever 20 articles a day. We have 500 million posts a day.
Okay,
500
understood.
million.
Does it bother you? How do you feel about that when you see it?
I obviously disagree with that. I think it's not good at all. It's terrible.
But you don't want to get rid of it on the platform, or at least moderate it.
The rules. What you're suggesting is censorship that goes beyond the law. And what I'm saying is,
No, it's content moderation. You know, like there's nothing inherently illegal about posting like, I don't know, video of dog fights, but like you still don't want your platform to become known for, oh, that's the platform that allows dog fights. Like what are you doing? What are you doing?
I guess have a disagreement because I do not believe in censorship that goes beyond the law, and you do. We have a difference of opinion in that regard.
I understand that, but these are your own rules on your own platform. These go against the rules on your platform. That's why I'm asking you. If you said, listen, we allow everything, but that's not what your content rules say, and that's why I'm asking you, why are they still there? Your own content policy. That's why I'm asking you that, not because.
Which part of our content policy says that we should delete these things?
The hate speech ones, the content policy where like if people are like spamming the N-word, like they get removed from the platform. That one.
Your content policy talks about hate speech.
Yes, we don't promote hate speech.
And so you don't consider that hate speech.
I guess you're not understanding what I'm saying. There's if
Whoa, you're okay. Look, Don. You're just not understanding what I'm saying. Okay, I'm saying we don't allow anything illegal on our platform, and we have a hate speech policy. Okay, and we'll remove things that are illegal, and we'll remove things under the hate speech policy. See, it's real simple, Don. It's real simple. But why aren't you removing these clearly hateful posts? Don. You aren't listening to what I'm saying. We remove what's illegal and what's against our hate speech policy. What was that? What was that second one? And what's against our hate speech policy? What? Sorry, what? Come again? Moving on. Elon Musk. Another W. Defeating Don Lemon through the power of just being utterly unintelligible.
If there's, you can find, like, you can sign up right now and do 100 things that are hateful. But if nobody reads it, it doesn't matter. So you can think of
Don Lemon is literally speechless. That's incredible, dude. That's what censorship is? No, the First Amendment and free speech relates only to what the government can censor. In private areas, the private entities that own those private areas have sway over what speech is and is not allowed. Let's be clear here. If you've ever seen a mod in any kind of online community, you know the difference between censorship and content moderation and the rules of different individual areas.
X is being, it's much like the internet. It's not some tiny publication with like 20 articles a day. It's 500 million.
But everyone has the opportunity to read it, Elon. It's not
I think
that
everyone
you
has
don't
the
know who's
opportunity to
gonna
read the internet. Are you suggesting we should shut down the internet?
No, but you.
Oh, I'm sorry. As if you didn't claim earlier in this that you played every video game. All of them. Okay. Oh, suddenly someone reading all of the internet is crazy to you, Mr. Every Video Game. Okay.
You don't own the internet. I'm asking you about you and your responsibility and your platform. And so I see how you feel now. You don't agree. We don't agree on this.
Yes, you want censorship and I don't.
No, I don't want censorship at all.
Yes, you do.
No, I want responsibility. I think there.
You desperately want censorship.
SCOTUS unanimously ruled that public officials can now be sued for blocking users because of free speech. Excellent.
No, if I want a
You
censorship.
want censorship so bad you can taste it.
No, that's not true. It's not true. I think that there's right and wrong. And I think
therefore
that,
you want censorship.
and I think that when you have a platform that's as big as yours and as powerful as yours and as influential as yours, and you are a person of consequence to the world with what you do, that there is a certain responsibility that goes along with what you have on your platform and what you put out to the world. And I think that's important. You don't see that responsibility.
I think we have a responsibility to adhere to the law, and if people want the law changed, they should talk to their elected representative and get the law changed, and then we will adhere to the law.
Okay.
But if you want us to go beyond the law, that is us deciding to be censors.
So.
And I'm against censorship. I'm in favor of freedom of speech.
Yeah.
And freedom of speech only is relevant when people you don't like say things you don't like. Otherwise, it has no meaning.
But I do think that there should be guardrails, and I believe in free speech as much as you. I would fight. I don't disagree. I don't agree with a lot of what you put out on social media, but I will fight for your right to be able to say it.
Great.
Yeah. Okay. So listen, let's talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. All right. That's been a target of yours lately on X. There was a repost of Ben Shapiro that you claim that DEI is killing people. Specifically, you point to medicine. You claim that DEI programs are putting people at risk. Do you really believe this to be true? And what evidence do you have to support it?
What I was referring to there was that if we lower the standards for doctors, so that they, if the test for a doctor is lowered, then the probability of them making a mistake and killing someone is obviously going to be higher.
Wait, say that again. I'm not sure I understand what you said. I want to make sure I understand what you're saying.
Yes, if the standards for passing medical exams and becoming a doctor, or especially something like a surgeon, if the standards are lowered, then the probability that the surgeon will make a mistake is higher. They're making.
Dude, he's literally saying black people would be worse surgeons than white people. He's just saying the racist thing. When people say, "Oh, DEI is causing them to lower their standards, so they can hire more black and brown people," they couch it in like, "Oh, well, we just don't want the standards to be lowered. We don't want the
Hey
standards
Jack,
to be
hope
lowered."
you're doing good.
Judd Alone, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. Thank you for being on board for the last 32 months. Also, Dead Domain, thank you very much for the raid. And also, folks, go subscribe to Dead Domain. What are you doing? One of the best up and coming YouTubers out there. Okay, get on in there. Go follow them. All right. Hey, Procter Gambles. I'm gonna ignore that slip of the tongue. And I am going to die of shame. Oh no. Oh no. Oh. We're leaving that one in. We're leaving that one in the VOD. All right. Welcome, Raiders. My name is Riverboat Jack. I'm known for talking about politics, being a socialist, being a hot trans lady, and also slips of the tongue like that. Is Cockster like Napster for dick? I don't know. Oh no. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, we are watching this train wreck of an Elon Musk interview, and it is wild. It is actually unapologetically wild. Dead Domain? You mean the trans person who went undercover at CPAC? Yep, that's the one. Anyway. Hi. And I'll be doing an outfit change after we finish this segment. Catalina Gearbox!
Drink up.
Thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs, which means I can finally have some precious, precious water. I've been so thirsty this entire time. Goddamn. Now I need to think of another incentive for y'all. Okay, if you guys get 15 more subs, I will manatee for you. I will be your manatee. And we will do the public defender. How many subs to let the hair down? You're already getting the hair down when I change my outfit. Unless you want it sooner, in which case, I'll let my hair down in 5. What does that mean? We've been doing a really fun thing on stream recently where we watch public domain television shows from the 1950s, and we found one that is the level of melodrama is so high that it's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous that I literally like cried laughing last time we watched it. So it's very fun, and it's called The Public Defender. Jack's mind is elsewhere. Look, if you guys donate, if someone does like a $50 dono or a $100 dono and requests a fart stream, I will say the word fart for every $2, but it has to be kickstarted by a big dono, okay? Anyway, I need to get some water. I'll be right back. Also, I hadn't filtered any water, so I have hibiscus LaCroix, which should be pretty good. And also, if we do make it to Manatee Jack, I have this Highland single malt Scotch whiskey that I will likely open. So.
I was about to say, you get what you pay for, but then I realized that's capitalist propaganda.
It's true. You filthy, filthy capitalist. Turns on the daddy signal? What does that mean? I guess I immediately found out what that means. Daddy. I can shapeshift into a manatee? Yes, I can. What Proctor gambles? A chatter name I would never mistake for anything else. Hey, Dead Domain, I'm glad you enjoyed that. Where do you get hibiscus LaCroix? Honestly, I have no idea. I just randomly found this, and honestly, it tastes kind of like what I imagine the color pink would taste like. Okay, it looks like people are redeeming mommies and daddies. Daddy. Oh, mommy. There you go. I hope you enjoy it. And then we have Awooga! The sexiest soundbite of all. Oh. This is me covering serious politics. What did I walk into? Chatter's redeeming a lot of channel points all at once on Twitch. Awooga! 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 Oh god. Awooga! Oh god. Matt Binder, thank you very much for the raid. Welcome everybody. My name's Riverboat Jack. I talk about the news and politics, and I'm a very serious streamer. Chat right now is redeeming a bunch of different things to try and make me embarrass myself in front of new chatter-rinos, new friendos. And I will get to those. You guys are mean. You guys are so mean. You guys are so mean. Why? I am a trans lady. I'm a socialist. I talk about the need for democracy in the workplace. We're in the middle of covering this Elon Musk interview.
You're a silly bean.
I am a silly bean, and frankly, I'm befuddled by how much I'm about to embarrass myself in front of all of these people. So if you're new here, just know that these are all noises that I implemented into a channel point system when I had far fewer viewers, and never really expected them to all be redeemed at once in front of several hundred people now. But all right. So here we go. We have an Awooga, an Omami, 2 more Awoogas, so that's 3 Awoogas, 4 Awoogas, 2 Omamis, a stretch, and putting glasses on. Oh, and we have a Nya. All right, a Nya as well. Okay, cool. So Matt Binder, I respect you a lot, so please don't think less of me after I belittle and debase myself in this way. Awooga! 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 Oh, mommy. Oh, mommy. Oh, mommy. Nya. And then 5 arm curls. Let's go. That's right. It's time to get swole. Oh, mommy. 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my god. And then I have to put the glasses on and off. Matt Binder, thank you for getting a subscription from Berserk Jazerk. And you then told me to put glasses on and off 3 times. And you also got a squish, which squish. Holy shit. This is like a fetish car crash, just a pileup of several concurrent fetishes hitting each other at once. And it was never intended to be a fetish pileup. It was just intended to be silly noises that I make, you know, once every 30 minutes. And instead, chat has decided to save up all of their channel points so that they can do 30 of them at a time, apparently. This is a Pokemon. It's called a Wooloo. And I just think that it's really adorable, and I also really like its counterpart, which is a Mareep. And they're lesbians and they're dating. So yeah, they're my favorite Pokemans. They're in love, yeah. They're going on a cruise later this month. A gay cruise.
I have 546k channel points. You're lucky. I'm saving up to 1 million.
Jesus. Okay. Also, thank you for the $5 dono, getting us one step closer to the manatee. Omega Shenron Dragon. Daddy. And I have to sing a song. Okay. All right. Fine. I guess I'll sing a song for you guys now. Marina, thank you for the $5 super chat. I really appreciate it. Because you're getting us one step closer and monetarily appreciating stream, which I, for one, appreciate. What am I singing? Good question. Oh, God. I'm a little congested, so I apologize. I'm a little congested, so I apologize in advance. If we hit Manatee before Don Lemon ends, do we still get the outfit? Yes. You will have a... I will give you an hour of me in my cute, kind of slutty outfit before I get into the Manatee. Alright. It's been a while since I did this one. Alright. Oh yeah, I also sing Happy Birthday. I sing Happy Birthday for anybody's birthday in chat, so just as an FYI. I've heard there was a secret chord that David played, and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do you? And it goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, and the major lift, the baffled king composing Alleluia. Alleluia, 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 Alleluia. Your faith was strong, but it needed proof, and you saw her bathing on the roof. Her beauty in the moonlight overthrew you. She tied you to a kitchen chair, and she broke your throat, and she cut your hair, and from your lips she drew the hallelujah. 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 Well, maybe there's a God above, but all I ever learned from love is how to shoot at somebody who outdrew you. But it's not a crime that you're here tonight. It's not someone who's seen the light. It's a cold and broken hallelujah. 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 Oh, people, I've been here before. I know this room and I've walked this floor. And you used to live alone before I knew ya. And I've seen your
I can't
flag
stop giving you
on the
money.
marble arch. Love is not a victory march. It's a cold and broken hallelujah. 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 There was a time you let me know what's real and going on below, but now you never show it to me, do you? And I remember when I moved in you, and the holy dark was moving too, and every breath she drew was hallelujah. 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 Now I've done my best. I know it wasn't much. I couldn't feel, so I tried to touch. And I've told the truth. I didn't come here just to fool you. And even though it all went wrong, I'll stand right here before the Lord of Song with nothing on my tongue but hallelujah. 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 Hope you enjoyed my song. I know it's not as good as other versions that are out there, but I hope you enjoyed it. I've never sung in front of this many people before. Standing clapping. Well, I thank you guys. I appreciate that a lot. This was my favorite version. Foxy Cheshire, that is that is an incredible compliment. My God. Standing in front of my computer clapping. No love in chat for Leonard Cohen though. I was going off of Leonard Cohen lyrics. I did change a few of them though. You should ask Bender to be on his punk album. Oh, I would never ask anyone to be on their album. If someone wants me to sing, I'd be happy to like give it a shot. I just can't. I can't promise anything, you know. I don't consider myself a great like singer or anything. Stop making me cry. God, you guys are being really nice to me. And Forlorn, this is just for you. Yeah. Nah, just everyone be standing the Buckley version, which is very good, but the Cohen is the classic. It's true. That's true. I like something kind of between the two, I guess. You could be professional if you practice more. That's true. I just don't have time to practice. I just sing in the car and in the shower. Leonard performed the first version of Hallelujah in 1985, and then new second version in 88 and 93 tours. First version was repeated on the Essential Leonard Cohen. That isn't that. Okay, all right. The lore. Well, thank you, Renaroo. I appreciate you. Shower singers unite. That's true. When Karl Marx was writing theory, he was really talking about shower singers. With an angle on automobile singers, but that was just in its infancy at the time. What about the mirror singers? You guys have had it too good for too long. I don't know. Just saying things. Leonard Cohen sounds if Spock was horny. That is the most accurate way of describing Leonard Cohen's voice. That is true. Yeah. All right. Well, I didn't expect all of that, but hello, and consider dropping those subs and donos, and hit the follow button on Twitch, hit the subscribe button on YouTube, like the YouTube stream. And we're going to finish up this interview because despite the fact that it has turned hostile, it's still deeply funny.
Making mistakes in their exam, they may make mistakes with people, and that may result in people dying.
What evidence do you have, though, that they're lowering the standards?
Oh, sorry. I was in the middle of this train of thought. I need to finish it. Basically, Elon Musk is saying that DEI results in worse standards for people like surgeons, right? Except that DEI doesn't lower standards. DEI programs just like look for equally qualified candidates who come from other groups aside from white groups. That's essentially like if any of you have ever heard of that study that came out several years ago about like how in race blind interviews, preferential treatment between different resumes would be given to white sounding names or white coded names, you know, like John Jacobs, as opposed to like non-white sounding names. I'm not going to try and pull one out of my ass. So the misconception here is that like, they're lowering their standards so they can hire like African Americans or black and brown people. But the reality is they're just making sure that things aren't just completely going to, by default, go towards white-coded individuals. But what's insane to me is he's essentially being like, oh yeah, of course, DEI programs mean we'd have less skilled surgeons, which is basically just a sideways way of saying black people are less good at doing surgery than white people, which is deeply racist.
There's no evidence of that.
I believe there is.
There's no evidence of that, Elon. What is the evidence?
I believe they have literally lowered the standards at Duke University, and that is what the article is referring to.
There's no evidence.
Saying they have not lowered the standards?
There's no evidence about lowering standards, and I think that there is.
I believe that is a false statement you're making.
Okay, well, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I think
the interesting thing is, when this is posted on the X platform, there will be a whole bunch of things that rebut what you said and what I said,
right.
And so people can then make their own.
Weird. Interesting. Duke School of Medicine denies lowering admission standards for DEI goals, as alleged by Ben Shapiro and Elon Musk. Damn, dude, that's crazy. That's crazy. That article came out today. Because you told this lie.
Our decision based on the replies and the rebuttals and the community notes.
I think that's fair, but I do think that on this particular topic, I do think that you and Ben Shapiro are reaching in about this, because there was what Ben posted said that he gave instances of people who were deliberately harming people. Nowhere in the thread does Ben suggest at all, I should say, that anyone is being killed as a result of DEI. That's purely speculative. There's research on DEI and medicine, and there's no evidence that standards are being lowered, that DEI is affecting medicine. Actually, only 5% of doctors are black, and a small percent.
Yeah, I think you'll find that when this is posted to the X platform,
which, by the way, is a result of like structural racism, like systemic racism that like disadvantages African American families from being able to do things like send their children to medical school. You know, like that's just like one of the structurally racist things about our society that we should dismantle, because it would be good for more people to become doctors. It would be good to not have that structural discrimination. It would be good for all of us to get rid of that.
That people will reply to it with evidence.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong. Let's see.
Okay. So, but.
Oh, yeah, people, you know, I'm just going to say this thing, and people will reply to it with evidence. What? What? What kind of, like, bubble do you live in, guy? Oh, well, people get around to posting, fact-checking my claims. It's okay. Like, my God, you're in the middle of an interview.
That's my whole thing about moderation. Maybe you're wrong, but you'll put it out there. You don't know if it's right. Do you think that your responsibility to make sure something is right before you, the person who owns it, Elon Musk, who's a huge figure in the world, that you should know that it's true, that there are people at X who can get research for you before you put something out there like that? That's not necessarily true, even in other examples.
If I say something that is inaccurate, I'm immediately corrected on the platform. That's the advantage of real-time.
Yeah, and you know, I don't like that, so I've surrounded myself with these racists and anti-Semites who will never correct me and will be sycophantic as hell. And that is just the way I like it. Harumph, says Elon Musk.
A system like X. So there will be immediately in the replies people correcting me. There will be a community note that will correct me, which is attached to the actual post itself.
Do you think as many people read
Yes.
You think as many people read that as it reads your tweet?
Yes, in fact, and if there's a community note that happens later where somebody didn't see, but they replied to that or interacted with that post, we will notify them that there is now a community note correcting that post.
Mm-hmm. Just so you.
Whereas if you consider the conventional media, that doesn't happen. Conventional media makes false statements all the time and nobody ever hears the correction.
When I was in conventional media, I can only speak for myself. If I got something wrong, or if someone got something wrong on the platform that I was on, it was corrected, and we made sure that it was corrected. Now, I can't speak for anyone else.
I don't think that's a universal situation.
Okay. So I just want the research. So when you talk, do you believe that people are dying because medical standards, DEI is causing medical standards to be lowered? Do you actually believe people are dying because of that?
I believe that if we lower the standards for what it takes to become a doctor,
You're saying if we lower the standards,
Yes.
but do you believe people are dying because the standards are being lowered?
God, I really want Don Lemon to ask Elon Musk just straight up, like, would you let a black surgeon operate on you? I want him to ask Elon Musk if he would allow like a black surgeon to operate on him, because if he's consistent with what he's saying here, he would have to say no, right? Which would be an like for Don Lemon, that'd be an incredible quote to get, but also just like very revealing. But I think Elon isn't quite realizing the implication of what he's saying, because he's a very, very dumb man.
I don't
Or have
think
been
that is
lowered?
yet an issue, but it could become an issue.
Okay. But the actual evidence in history shows the exact opposite. If you look at how minorities are treated by the medical system,
Well, it could be an issue someday, says man pushing deeply racist conspiracy theory. But it could be an issue someday, and that's worrying. Says man who has done nothing about climate change and was given a plan by the UN to use his massive fortune to end world hunger, and then just left them on red.
most doctors now are white. And there are lots of mistakes in medicine. So you're saying that white doctors have bad medical care? I'm trying to understand your logic here when it comes to DEI, because there's no actual evidence of what you're saying.
No,
I'm trying to figure out what you're saying, because all of your sources are batshit.
said, so if the standards, like let's say, I think that particular thing was referring to surgeons. Let's say a surgeon is asked to, a surgeon in training is asked to do a series of operations under the supervision of a senior surgeon, and they get a bunch of those operations wrong. If that happens, and yet they are still approved to be a surgeon, the probability.
What? They simply wouldn't be made a surgeon if that happened. They'd be kicked out of medical school or their program, or like receive more training. Like, what are you talking about? It's not like, good, I see you perforated that intestine only 6 times. Here you are, you're officially a surgeon. Good luck.
That someone will die, I think, at some point is high.
Okay, I understand that, but that's a hypothetical. That doesn't mean it's happening.
I didn't say it's happening.
Why did you say that then? I didn't say that was happening, said man who just said what he thought was happening.
You didn't say it was happening.
I said it will.
But
I said if we lower standards, people will die.
But we haven't.
But why respond to something or put something out there that has not happened? Because I could say,
Because I don't want it to happen. I think we don't want to lower standards.
okay, if you look at the history of the medical industry, especially when it comes to Black Americans, it shows the exact opposite. If you look at the Tuskegee experiment and on, only 5% of doctors in America are Black. All of them are white. So are you saying that if the majority of doctors are white, are you saying that and there are still these inequities, right? And there's still mistakes. Are you blaming DEI for that?
No, I'm very basically saying that if we lower standards for what it takes to become a board-certified surgeon, or
Yeah, but that's not happening. This is like saying, if we lowered standards for people to get their driver's license, we'd have more car accidents, and like, yeah. But that's not happening. So, if we lowered standards for pilots, a lot more planes would crash. Yeah, but we're not though. So, what?
an oncologist or something where the the kind of disease we're talking about, if you make a mistake, causes someone to die, then more people will die than if we don't lower the standards. Therefore, we should not lower the standards.
But why do you think they're lowering the standards for minority doctors or women doctors, or?
That's what that's what that article suggested. Yes, at Duke University.
Okay.
So you are saying that it is happening right now, but you would still be comfortable with a woman surgeon or a minority surgeon? You said it wasn't happening now. Now you're saying it is happening now. Sounds like you're full of shit.
The evidence that I have shows that that's not true.
Okay.
So after the door
That's the polite way of saying that he's full of shit.
blew off this mid-flight in this Alaskan Airlines flight, do you remember that? You responded to a post claiming that the average HBCU grad was less intelligent than the average airline pilot, and stated that it will take an airplane crashing and killing hundreds of people for them to change this crazy policy of DIE. I don't know if did you miss?
Again, the issue isn't DEI or DIE or whatever. The issue is the parts being manufactured to replace the parts that are currently on Boeing planes are all subcontracted out. They're all of very, very flawed quality. And those planes are not given enough time to have full maintenance done on them between flights. So you wind up with people on the runway and mechanics taking shortcuts in order to get them in the air, and sometimes those shortcuts compile on one another, and suddenly a door blows off a plane. What are you gonna do? Am I right? It's almost like we could slow down. We could slow things down, but that might be less profitable for the people in charge of these airlines. So the problem, as it is 99.9% of the time, is capitalism.
Spell it on purpose, which it should be DEI. Do you believe that women and minority pilots are inherently less intelligent and less skilled than white male pilots?
No, I'm just saying that we should not lower the standards for them.
But we aren't.
Okay. But there's no evidence that standards are being lowered when it comes to the airline industry.
You've repeatedly said that there's no evidence that standards are being lowered, and watch the replies showing all the evidence that it is.
His evidence is literally, but like, look at all of these conservative jackasses in my replies telling me that I'm right. You're gonna argue with them, and it's like, they also don't have evidence. They're also all full of shit.
Replies, though, on social media or on Twitter are not necessarily fact and evidence.
No,
That's people's
they
opinion.
will cite all the
We'll
in the replies to this. You will see how often the information is cited, showing that
It doesn't matter if I'm wrong, because everyone else will correct me. Says man infamous for not being corrected by people presenting him evidence, as evidenced in this interview where Don Lemon repeatedly cites information that contradicts him, and he's just like, oh, but other people will have evidence to back me up, probably, maybe, someday. What a colossal chuckle fuck. Morbius Dragon, thank you for gifting a membership over on YouTube, and that counts towards our overall goal, so thank you very much.
indeed there are significant
Good night,
cases
Erica.
where standards are lowered.
And I do hope that happens. I do hope that happens, and I look forward to it. And as you said, if you're wrong, then you're wrong, and if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong.
Yes.
Okay, and I'm glad we're having this conversation, debating. This is what we should be doing, debating the issue. So if
Right.
I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, and then they'll be proven in the thing, and you as well. But I just want to tell you that pilot that you talked about, in fact, was a woman pilot, landed the plane safely, despite the major malfunction with the equipment. Boeing has taken responsibility for that incident, saying that it was caused by a faulty door panel. So I'm not sure what that had to do with lowering the standards for pilots when it was a faulty.
No, it's not lowering standards for pilots. It's the incentive structure.
What?
I believe at Boeing changed to include DEI as a fundamental executive incentive. In my view, it should be purely about passenger safety.
Okay, but do you understand How by
But do you understand that you said you were talking about pilot DEI and now you're talking about something else entirely? So you've just changed what you're talking about, and you've taken the goalposts and you've moved them onto a completely different field. You understand, right? Elon Musk is one of the world's stupidest men. He's like a modern day Habsburg, okay? He's like the result of like intergenerational like inbreeding among like wealthy aristocrats. That's like the level he's operating on right now. And frankly, I'm tired of pretending that he's not extremely weird and completely unable to actually formulate anything original or good.
saying just that standards are being lowered, that you're implying that they're being lowered because people are less skilled and less intelligent, and you're talking about people of color and or women.
Look, I'm saying we should not lower standards.
But you don't.
That's it.
I think everyone can agree that you shouldn't lower standards.
Great. That's
But you're
all.
implying that they're lowering standards because of people of color or women, because someone is not a white male. You're saying that they're less skilled and less intelligent. That's what
No,
you're
I'm not saying that.
That is exactly what you're saying. You're saying that in order to hire more women and minorities, they're lowering the standards. You are explicitly saying that the reason more women and minorities are being hired is because they are less skilled and the standards have gone down.
I'm simply saying that they are.
Then why would they be lowering the standards?
I don't know. Why are they lowering the standards?
Just so you know, 5% of pilots are female, 4% are black. So you're talking about this widespread takeover of minorities and women when that's not actually true.
I'm not saying there's a
standards
widespread takeover.
Well, you're saying that the standards are being lowered because of certain people.
God. Honestly, okay. I went into this expecting Don Lemon to be like softballing it through this entire thing. And to his credit, he's actually been like nailing Elon pretty hard on these questions. It's just that these questions to literally any other like tech CEO or really CEO of any kind would be considered softballs, you know? Like, these would all be considered softball questions to almost any other person leading a major company. And instead, Elon is just, like, infomercial bumbling his way through this interview. And it's, frankly, incredible. It's incredible to see these softballs being turned... Like, it's like watching... It's like if you were watching, like, a middle school softball game and just like every pitch against this one player hit him directly in the balls, you know, just like hit him in the balls, falls over, shakingly stands up, gets hit in the balls right again. Like that's what this interview is. It's just Elon metaphorically being punched in the balls over and over and over again by things that are supposed to be relatively easy to deal with. God, dude.
You don't believe in DEI, right? Do you not believe in diversity, equity, and inclusion?
I think we should be treat people according to their skills and their integrity, and that's it.
Do you know that studies show?
Studies show.
Yeah, well, we can look them up.
Studies? I don't need studies. I use real facts, which are what my friends on Twitter give me. I don't need science or data. I've got the replies on Twitter, okay? I've got a bunch of guys with some really fun little some really fun avatars who come by with all these memes about like African Americans and white Chads. And I just, I don't understand the memes, but they seem to have their facts in order. They linked me to places, that are pretty reputable, like the Washington Examiner and the Daily Wire and Stormfront, like all these reputable sources. And I just listen to them and absorb all of that because it's true information, and no one would just get on the internet and tell lies. Nope. No one would. That's not a thing. No one gets on the internet and tells lies.
So your reaction to studies show, and I understand, right? Because I always like to point to an exact study, right?
Sure.
Something that is factual. It's the same thing when you talk about, well, let's see what the replies are on Twitter or on X.
Yeah, so
I feel the same.
These are not equivalent, but it is extremely charitable of Don Lemon to draw an equivalence here.
I feel the same way about that. But this is what studies have shown, and people will reply and they'll say that companies with more diversity in their
Thanks,
leadership
very
teams
Duck.
have reported higher innovation rates than those with lower diversity or low diversity. And they're better companies, and they make more money. This whole idea about DEI, if you go woke or whatever, you go broke, that's not necessary.
I know this one company that lowered its standards so low they hired some pathetic fail son to run it into the ground. What was it called? Twitter, I think it was. Weird, huh? Oh, God.
Fairly true. People with diverse leadership teams and diverse workers make more money and more innovative.
Like I said, my view is that the only basis for promoting somebody should be their skills, talents, and their integrity, and that's it.
I want to ask you about there was a federal government.
I just think that the only qualifying rubrics that people should use when they're giving out promotions or hiring is, skills, their integrity, of course, and whether or not they pledge allegiance to Rhodesia. Okay, look, I'm just saying these are three relatively simple things that people could do, and I think would make them simple and effective workers. Okay. Anyway, don't if you don't know what that last one is, don't Google it. Okay, just look at the replies to learn how based it is.
EEOC they are also currently involved in a lawsuit against Tesla that alleges that there's a history of widespread racial harassment against black Tesla employees, as well as a pattern of retaliation for speaking out. What do you say to that?
I don't believe that is true. I think we've got a very good. Like if you walk around the Tesla Fremont plant, I think it's a very good atmosphere. In fact, I practically lived there for 3 years, trying to make the production work.
Were you aware, if you lived there, were you aware of such behavior?
I never saw it.
So you're saying that this is not true, it's not happening?
Well, I mean, there's over 20,000 people. So you say, like, if there's over 20,000 people in one building, well, is everyone going to behave perfectly? No. Did I see any situations that I thought were improper? I did not.
Let's talk about trans rights and the woke mind virus, because you've talked about that a lot. You're right about that a lot on the thing. You have been deeply outspoken about the issue of trans rights. You posted trans rights. You posted that pronouns in bio mean the woke mind virus ate your brain.
Yeah, I remember someone at the very beginning of this asking if he had reconciled with his trans daughter, and the answer is no. He's just doubling down and getting more hateful, because of course he is.
Do you know what the term woke actually means?
It's come to mean a lot of things.
But what originally it was meant to mean. It's just being aware of inequities in society and being aware of facts and history.
Yeah, I think it's come to be. I think being aware of inequities in society is fine, of course, but trying to blame everything trying to make everything a race issue is, I think, divisive and corrosive to society.
Even as it relates to trans issues, which is what I'm.
Yeah, race or gender or whatever.
You think that society blames everything on racism now?
blames a lot of things on it, and yeah,
You think that's unfair?
yeah.
Why?
I think we should.
Bro, he's not doing okay. Like, he hasn't been, like, fully coherent throughout this entire interview. It's been really off-putting.
Not make this a constant subject. I think we need to move on. I think we just,
we look. I know that some people alive today would have been denied the right to vote, within their lifetimes. But we should just move on. We should just move on. Sure, some people might be victims of redlining. Don't look at the population distribution in most American cities. But we need to move on. We need to move on. Light Cheens, thank you very much for subscribing with Prime. I appreciate it. And that'll get another sub on the board here. One step closer. We need only 8 more subs / dono equivalents, and we will be at manatee levels.
treat people like people.
You don't agree that this country was founded on racism and founded on slavery and in many ways inequities? That still continue on to...
Man, I'm really interested what the son of an apartheid emerald miner might say about this.
I think every country at that time, and I think even today, was extremely racist.
Oh, even today? Then maybe we still have some work to do, Elon.
Every country. And obviously, slavery was present in about half of this country. But was not present in the North. There was racism for sure. But I think we want to
What are you
look
trying
to the
say?
future rather than the past.
But we have to understand the past in order to take steps to get to a better future, because if we ignore the past, we also can't understand the present. And if we can't understand the present, it makes it harder to get to the future. Come on, use those critical thinking skills.
And instead of engaging in constant rehashing of the past, because in fact, if you look at history, if you study history broadly, everyone was a slave. Everyone.
No. No. As somebody who minored in history at university, no, actually. Everyone was not a slave, actually. That isn't a thing. Also, as somebody who has studied history and knows a bit about slavery in the Roman Empire, that type of slavery is very distinct from the transatlantic slave trade, which systematized and targeted people along racial lines because there was then built up around it scientific racism, eugenics, biblical belief in the inferiority of African Americans. There was an entire belief structure built into the transatlantic slave trade that centered capitalism and turning human beings of a certain skin color into product to be sold and worked. It was explicitly a dehumanizing process that was destructive and genocidal. And it was designed to be so because it was designed to do that because essentially part of the reasoning of why slavery was righteous in the American South was that you were effectively, saving them. You were saving those black people from growing up in Africa. You know, you were exposing them to the civilization of white people. How amazing for them to be worked to death in the fields. Yeah, no, like, not everyone was subject to either the same kind of slavery throughout history, and not everyone was subject to slavery.
Yes. Well, not
Okay.
everyone.
Yeah, the Mormons historically also claimed that if brown people were good enough, they'd turn white. Which is real and also insane.
One was a slave.
No,
but,
everyone was a slave.
Okay, but
We are all descended from slaves.
yeah. Well,
All
No.
of us.
yeah. But,
It's just a question of when. Was it more recent?
No, you dipshit. Not every human society had slavery. God damn it.
Or less recent? That's it.
right.
So but what future do we want? Is this something we want to make part of our constant dialogue forever, or do we want to say, like, let's just move on and treat everyone, according to just who they are as an individual?
I agree with you.
You mean from to each according to his need and from each according to his ability? Interesting concept there, Elon.
With that. That's the ideal. But what the evidence shows is that that's not what's actually in practice.
I think we're doing better than anywhere else.
That's true. I agree with that.
His brain, we just saw the exact moment his like last sane neuron broke. Okay, that was a real, automobile like clunking to a stop moment, except the mental equivalent of it.
But that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean a lot to a whole lot of people who aren't able to take advantage of the opportunities that you were able to take advantage of, simply because the color of your skin.
What advantages did my color of my skin give me?
Well, there's an ease that you have in society that many people of color don't. You were able to come to this country voluntarily. There are many people who were not able.
Whiskey Tango Foxbat Snipe BWA.
Very knifey duck, thank you for gifting a tier 1 sub. You've been like holding down the fort this stream with the sniping. Thank you very, very much for getting us this close to Manatee. Elon Musk is literally sitting there. Again, the inheritor of an emerald mine from apartheid South Africa. And like, what has my skin color ever done for me? Well, probably that thing I just mentioned, the apartheid emerald mine.
To come to the country voluntarily. There are people
Actually,
who came here
it was
as
very difficult
slaves.
for me to come here.
And there is a legacy of slavery that still continues on. There's a legacy of racism that still continues on in this country. That's undeniable.
Well, if we keep talking about it nonstop, it will never go away.
Just out of curiosity here, interesting. Yes, I found exactly what I was looking for. Elon's father explains that the mine was an informal operation where there were no signed agreements or financial statements. That aligns with the story Elon was telling in 2014, talking about guns and contraband. Here's Elon Musk. Company death. Not succeeding with the company causes me a lot more stress than physical danger. But I've been in physical danger before. The funny thing is, I've not actually been that nervous. In South Africa, my father had a private plane we'd fly in incredibly dangerous weather and barely make it back. This is going to sound slightly crazy, but my father also had a share in an emerald mine in Zambia. I was 15 and really wanted to go with him, but didn't realize how dangerous it was. I couldn't find my passport, so I ended up grabbing my brother's, which turned out to be 6 months overdue. So we had this plane load of contraband and an overdue passport from another person. There were AK-47s all over the place, and I'm thinking, man, this could really go bad. And just want to remind you all, this is about him visiting the emerald mine that his father worked at, and there were AK-47s all over the place, which kind of, sort of, seems like, to me, he's implying that there were guards around this informal and undocumented emerald mine that were forcing people to mine against their will. I'm just... That's kind of what it seems like, right? It kind of seems like he's talking about the experience of going as a teenager and seeing a bunch of people being forced to work at gunpoint in an emerald mine. Probably, and I'm going out on a limb here, considering it's in Zambia, probably not, like, you know, wealthy, well-to-do white people in that mine. Just going out on a limb here again.
If we keep making that the central thing, it will never go away.
Why do you believe that?
I think I'm just making a simple statement of fact. So I think we want to get away from making everything a race or a gender or whatever issue.
We were all slaves, says man known for trying to break the unions and force his workers to work 16-hour-long shifts. We were all slaves, he says as he cracks a whip on the production line.
And just treat people like individuals.
Do you have any desire to understand what many people of color and even trans people, how they feel about this country and how they're treated in this country? If they say and they believe that they are treated a certain way in this country, why don't you believe them?
You cannot have a situation where someone is a self-described victim and they just get to be that because that's how they feel.
I think that does happen in some cases, but not all cases. And I think that not understanding the history of the country, I think, is a real shame. Look,
We should understand the history of the country and other countries.
I've had incredible opportunities as a person of color.
Right.
But I've also been
very well.
But I've also been discriminated against, and I know that I have. And I know that that's real. And for someone to say that that isn't happening, I should just move forward and not think about that and ignore the past is insulting.
I'm not saying it. Don, you keep.
I'm not gonna lie, Don Lemon actually having a spine in this interview is probably what got him kicked off of the deal with Elon. Like that's actually like that is actually like good pushback on Don Lemon's part. Hey, Metal Kitty Mom.
Putting words in my mouth. I'm not saying it's
I didn't say that you said it.
I'm saying that we want to. We as a country should move beyond questions of race and gender, and we should treat people like individuals and base our opinions.
Sure, but we can do that once we've eliminated the systems that, you know, oppress women and African Americans, black and brown people, all that stuff. You know, we need to get rid of the oppressive systems first. Otherwise, we're just moving forward with oppressive systems that are going to continue to oppress people.
On them, on the, you know, their character.
God, at this point, Don Lemon is going to be one of the wealthiest people being paid because other people keep breaking contracts with him. Oh God, I didn't even think about that fight and win. I didn't even think that Elon might have to pay Don Lemon out because he broke the contract early. Oh God.
And their skills.
I don't think that anyone will disagree with that.
Exactly.
All I'm saying is that that's not happening and is not equal for everyone. That those opportunities don't happen for everyone. And I am a living example that they don't. I know that they don't because I live it.
You've been incredibly successful.
What contract? Elon Musk, like, got Don Lemon to make a show for X. So, like, this was supposed to be, like, Elon's big reveal interview of the Don Lemon show on X.com. And instead, immediately after this interview, he canceled that contract. And then Don Lemon still put it up on Twitter, and that's pretty funny.
Have been,
And
in spite of it all. But I know what I know. I've experienced what I've experienced. You haven't done that, and I cannot. I don't know what it's like to be from South Africa. I don't know what it's like to be a white man. I don't know what it's like to be a woman. I don't know what it's like to be a Latino person. I don't know that, so I wouldn't speak for them and just say you need to move on. That's not for me to say. I believe that it would be great if the country could live up to that ideal. You think that everyone has the same opportunities in America, regardless of their background and ethnicity. Do you agree?
No, I don't think everyone has the same opportunities.
Okay. So when you talk about, let's talk about trans rights. When you decided to talk about the trans rights movement, you said that it was a woke mind virus. Why do you believe the trans rights?
I feel like at some point in this interview, Don Lemon correctly intuited that this was going to be his last interview with Elon Musk, and he started going a little bit harder. You know, I feel like maybe like 20 minutes prior, like while talking about content moderation, like he correctly intuited that Elon Musk was not going to be doing more programs with his show.
Movement is a woke mind virus. What do you mean by woke mind virus?
Woke mind virus is when you stop caring about people's skills.
What is he looking at? Like, I'm sorry, just real quick. That is a long pause. That is a long ass pause.
I really need you to see this new horror series.
I clicked the link, but it says content is no longer available. But, sure. Also, thank you for the $5 dono. I appreciate it and gets us one step closer to Manatee Jack. That's the ketamine stare? Maybe.
Woke mind virus is when you stop caring about people's skills and their integrity, and you start focusing instead on gender and race and other things that are different from that.
It's an autistic shutdown? That could be. Maybe. As somebody who has had those, generally I'm able to continue functioning until afterwards. You know, I have my shutdowns in private, not on camera in the middle of an interview.
I think the woke mind virus is fundamentally racist, fundamentally sexist, and fundamentally evil.
Okay.
And we've got a little bit more time, so
yeah.
you choose your question.
Okay, okay, thank you for that. But I would appreciate you answering these. I think it's important that we're doing this. I think it's important to the world to hear this, especially what's going on in our country. The reason I ask you, listen, there are a whole lot of things that people maybe have questions about when it comes to transgender people. Even people who are part of the LGBTQ plus community have questions about that. But if you are a free speech absolutist,
true,
right?
Salmon Moose, true.
And that is part of the First Amendment. Also, the freedom of expression falls under that First Amendment as well. So why can't people choose to identify
His mind
with
can't
the
gather the
gender
lies
that they feel
fast
comfortable
enough?
with, or with use a pronoun? Isn't that part of freedom of expression?
I guess no. They can ask others to do whatever they.
Wait, did he actually say choose your questions carefully?
Racist, fundamentally sexist, and fundamentally evil.
Okay.
And we've got a little bit more time, so you choose your question.
Okay,
carefully.
so
Choose your questions carefully. Nope, he did. He did. My God. Oh my God.
okay, thank you for that. But I would appreciate you answering these. I think it's important that we're doing this. I think it's important to the world to hear this, especially what's going on in our country. The reason I ask you, listen, there are a whole lot of things that people maybe have questions about when it comes to transgender people. even people who are part of the LGBTQ plus community have questions about that. But if you are a free speech absolutist, right? And
Try this one, please.
No, that didn't work. But the last one that you sent worked. I'm just not showing it on screen. But thank you for the $5 dono. I appreciate it.
that is part of the First Amendment. Also, the freedom of expression falls under that First Amendment as well. So why can't people choose to identify with the gender that they feel comfortable with, or with a use a pronoun? Isn't that part of freedom of expression?
I guess no. They can ask.
He's literally never thought about it before. He's like, I guess they could.
Others to do whatever they feel. They can ask others to do anything. It's a different question whether they mandate that others do that thing.
Okay. Let's talk more about free speech and for advertisers, right? Because all this controversy, I believe, as you know, has made X less appealing to advertisers. About half of them have left the platform. You call advertisers.
Yeah. Also, trans people know we can't make anybody use our pronouns. But like, if you're not going to use our pronouns, like, we know that you're an asshole. You know, like it. Yeah, like it's not. This isn't like a hard equation here.
Advertisers that left X.com. You said they were oppressors. You've even gone as far as saying it publicly that they can go F themselves or go fuck themselves.
If they're going to
Whoa, Don Lemon dropping another F-bomb of a different variety. My God, Don Lemon getting his own show on X.com, and suddenly he has a filthy mouth. Like a sailor, this one. Dropping the F slur and now the F bomb? Crazy.
On the company before advertising, then obviously I find that unacceptable.
You find it unacceptable. Why is that not a form of free speech? They are free to advertise where they want. They're not beholden to, they're not obligated to advertise on X.com.
Right.
So how is that not free speech?
That's whereas the other platforms will censor on behalf of advertisers, the X platform will not.
Okay. So, but you think it's
Yeah, that's right. The X platform would never censor for outside sources. Just ignore all the times we've censored for fascist countries around the world, because, hey, if we didn't ban criticism of Erdogan in Turkey, they wouldn't let X continue to exist in Turkey, and that would be terrible for everyone. So really, we're doing the most free speech thing possible by censoring criticism of Erdogan in Turkey. That's right. We're really free speech, and that's why we work with despots.
You don't think it's okay for them not to advertise with or have their content or their advertisement next to something that is anti-Semitic or...
That is a different question.
Wait, Salmon Moose, when you're talking about Stone Toss, are you talking about Hans Christian Graebener? Are you talking about the cartoonist Hans Christian Graebener? I didn't know that Hans Christian Graebener Hans Christian Graebener was Stone Toss. You are talking about Hans Christian Graebener, the Nazi cartoonist behind Stone Toss. You mean the man Hans Christian Graebener? The Stone Toss cartoonist. Wow. Well, I, for one, don't know why anyone wouldn't be allowed to talk about Hans Christian Graebener. I think it is my fundamental right to free speech that protects my right to tell you all that Hans Christian Graebener is the Nazi Stone Toss cartoonist. America's wonderful.
you you can absolutely choose where next to which content do you want your advertising to appear. Absolutely, of course, and we have, I think, very good ad placement controls in this regard.
Yeah. So you said if they kill the company, it's them, but doesn't the buck stop with you? I mean,
You're on. I have to say, choose your question carefully. There's 5 minutes left.
I'm not gonna lie, I did see this clip circulating on social media. There was a part of me that was like, it's no way it can be this bad in context, right? There's no way it could be this bad in context. It's so bad in context. Oh my god.
okay, but so
Is this the question you want to ask?
the same question is you said that they are killing the company, but you're the
Choose
head
your
of the
questions
company.
carefully.
The buck doesn't stop with you.
He's so mad. Like, you can literally see his brain imagining, like, killing Don Lemon.
Doesn't stop with you.
You can literally see him contemplating murder.
I acquired X in order to preserve freedom of speech in America, the First Amendment, and I'm going to stick to that. And if that means making less money, so be it.
And if that means that I need to ban anyone who talks about how Hans Christian Grabener is stone toss, then by God, Elon Musk is going to ban them to protect freedom of speech.
So I have to be. Listen, I'm just being honest,
Yeah,
right? I'm not trying to.
You can literally see the flush in his face get more intense throughout this interview. It's fascinating.
like get you or anything. I was just surprised that you would blame other people for killing the company. I mean, when you say the buck stops with the president of the United States, regardless of what happens, right? So, why would that question upset you? You seem upset by it, are you?
I think you.
And I'm not trying to upset you.
Well, you are upsetting me because the way you're phrasing the questions, I think, is not cogent.
It's not what?
Not cogent.
Cogent.
Yes.
Go ahead.
If given a choice where an advertiser is saying like you have to.
By the way, no, that isn't really a good use of the word cogent. That is actually. I feel like Don Lemon's questions are, if anything, cogent. They're incredibly clear and concise.
To censor all this content on the platform, irrespective of where their advertising appears, then our answer will be like, look, you can choose where you want your advertising, what you want your advertising.
What does cogent mean? Cogent means like clear, like thoughtful, logical, reasoned, which I think very much applies to basically all of Don Lemon's questions, which have been very, very basic. Hey, tipster, welcome. How you doing? Hope you're having a good day.
To appear next to, but you can't insist on
How
censorship
does
of
this
the
make
entire
you
platform.
feel on?
If you insist on censorship of the entire platform,
Is this Hans person on Twitter? Well, Marina, I believe that Hans Christian Grabener currently is active on Twitter under the name Stone Toss, a neo-Nazi cartoon account. So, in a way, he is, but only if you know that Hans Christian Grabener is Stone Toss, and Stone Toss is Hans Christian Grabener.
even where your advertising doesn't appear, then obviously we will not want them as an advertiser.
So what would you say to advertisers who have left the platform or who are considering coming back or not coming back? What would you like to say to them?
Well, first of all, almost all of our advertisers are coming back to the platform. So it's a very short list of advertisers who are not coming back to the platform.
Oh, this will make it into the segment.
And our advertising revenue is rising rapidly. And our subscription revenue is rising rapidly. And I feel very optimistic about the future of the X platform.
Okay. Listen, honestly, I'm not meaning to offend you. You're an intense person. Where does that intensity come from?
I was born that way.
Whoa, so wait, let me get this straight. Elon can identify as an intense person, but I can't identify as a woman? That's crazy. That's crazy. What a silly little goose.
And I had a tough childhood.
You did?
So, yeah.
How so?
Right, Walter Isaacson goes into it in the book, and we only have a couple minutes left, so
All right.
too long to describe.
We only have a couple minutes left to talk about what was difficult in my childhood, so I'm not going to talk about that.
So the one or two questions I can do, and then we'll have to call it.
Right. Okay. Again, I don't mean to upset you. Why are you just...
No, I have a whole room full of people waiting to meet with me,
Okay.
so we're just going over time.
Okay. All right. I understand that. So when you talk about, you said you were born that way. Is that,
Oh, did you know that flushing/redness of the skin is a side effect of ketamine? I didn't know that, very knifey duck. Thank you for the info.
did you think that the way that you see the world has to do with your relationship with anyone, perhaps your father or someone in your family?
I think we're all affected by the people we grow up with. My aspiration is to do whatever it takes to extend consciousness into the future. That's my goal, to make life multiplanetary as part of extending consciousness into the future.
Have the past few years, and considering everything that's gone on, has it been difficult for you and your family?
I mean, I'd be ready to cry too if I failed in an interview on this level. Like this is like something, if Elon had any sense, he would immediately leave to go cry about. Like and I mean that in like a very literal sense. If like he has any sense of like shame or sense of how he comes across to others, like this would be the time to like absolutely bust out some tears after this interview concludes.
Family life?
It's been okay.
So then, how do you see your legacy, Elon? How do you see how people
let's
see you in the...
First of all, I say that if I died knowing that I did what was right, or did my best to do what was right, and even if in the history books they said I did wrong, I would still feel okay about that. I care about the reality of goodness, not the perception of it. I think we should view civilization as tenuous, as fragile. If you do study history broadly, you'll see that there's a rise and fall to civilizations. They don't always go up. So we should...
Yeah, but also humanity is more than a civilization. If you pay attention to history, you'll notice that even though civilizations fall or collapse, you'll notice that human beings themselves continue on and build new ones. We're relatively resilient creatures. Also, can we get a shout out to Anonymous Comrades Collective and Late Night Anti-Fascists for finding the already published name of Hans Christian Graebener and linking him to the Stone Toss comics. We owe them for the information of Hans Christian Graebener, formerly Stone Toss, formerly Red Panel Comics. And yes, you can get a shout out to Anonymous Comrades Collective and Late Night Anti-Fascists, specifically for finding the already published name of Hans Christian Graebener and linking him to the Stone Toss comics. We owe them, indeed, a huge debt of gratitude for informing us all of Hans Christian Graebener, formerly Stone Toss, formerly Red Panel Comics. I agree. I agree. The known Nazi, Hans Christian Graebener. Exactly. Yes.
We should do everything we possibly can to preserve and extend civilization as we know it.
Yeah.
And improve it.
Sorry, I missed this. That last comment. Who is this Stone Toss guy? He's the known Nazi cartoonist, Hans Christian Graebener, known for his neo-Nazism, his white supremacy, his various other ideological eccentricities.
It's become more enlightened over time, and we therefore want to address civilizational risks. We want to make sure that we don't have, for example, demographic collapse, which is the case in a lot of countries, just very low birth rate. We want to avoid World War III, anything that is a civilizational risk. That's what I care about, civilizational risks. How do we extend consciousness into the future such that we are able to better understand the nature of reality.
Yeah.
That's what I care about. That's my motivation.
I know you have to go. If you'll just give me, I'll do a rapid fire thing here. Is there anything
How about climate change? He doesn't give a shit about climate change because he wants to go live on Mars.
that you would change about anything that you've done in your life in the past or recently?
I've made many mistakes over the years. If I had a time machine, I'd go back and fix them, but I don't have a time machine.
Thank you. Elon.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Oh, he did go in
So
for the
that's it.
handshake, though.
And as Elon would say, you be the judge. Let me tell you something about this show. The conversation doesn't end just because the camera stops.
What?
We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Why was that so ominous? Did you do a sting on Elon Musk? Is the next Don Lemon show going to be like how he secretly smuggled in a microphone in like like they wired like Don Lemon up beforehand so that he could like secretly record all their conversations? Like what did Don Lemon personally bust like Elon Musk's ketamine dealer? Like what on earth do you mean by that, Don? Do music intensifies?
Thanks for watching the Don Lemon.
I need more transition sound effects, okay? I demand more transition sound effects.
Almost every
Okay.
single issue. And I challenge you, Elon.
I just want to hear the sound effect.
X.
There we go. What an incredible sound effect to just have periodically bing through your show. I love how ominous that sounded, right? Sounds like he's about to like bust open some kind of legacy case or something. I don't know. He did not say a single thing in that answer. Of course he didn't. Elon Musk is a vapid, like, Habsburgian fool. Jack demands more transition. It's part of my charm. Folks, we are now 4 hours into stream. I don't know how we can, like, summarize that Don Lemon interview. I mean, I think it basically reveals what we all already knew about Elon Musk, which is that he's like a foppish aristocratic holdover from a bygone age. You know, like he's like a guy who got lucky investing an already sizable fortune and lucked into being one of the world's wealthiest men, who's now just kind of mucking around and like on a whim bought one of the world's largest social media sites and is currently running it into the ground while surrounding himself with, white supremacist Nazi sycophants, and putting basically what he seems to dedicate his days to recently is just like defending those neo-Nazi sycophants on Twitter by banning people who talk about them. Much like how he has been systematically banning anybody who talks about Hans Christian Graebener, the man formerly known as Stone Toss, the neo-Nazi cartoonist. And, Andy doxed Juniper, and Elon followed him immediately after, but if you mention Hans Christian Graebener is Stone Toss, the Nazi comic artist, you get banned. I think that sums up Elon Musk perfectly well. Bisadu, I believe it also sums him up very well. What does he even do all day? Well, he says he works 16-hour-long days, but we all know that that includes every moment that he's awake, that he is on Twitter, which is what he does with all of his time.